Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fight Night Rising, brought to you by Wisdom. My name is
Oh, I
Khroen, and
forgot.
joining me is Boop. I was going to make a comment about it. Joining me is Boop with Mort Dog, the almighty, overshadowing him in the background. His daunting presence is here and is going to make or break some of these players' performances in this tournament tonight. Boop, how you doing? How's Mort Dog doing behind you?
Oh, War Dog's doing good. He looks happy. He's got his power position going. It's that power posture, right?
Yeah.
So, probably feeling okay about what's going on with set 6.5. But, we still got to do some set 6 play today. So I'm pretty excited to kind of, send this away with, Enya playing in the background.
Ah, that is true. Let's go ahead and introduce the format which we will be playing here tonight, because this is the new and improved Fight Night Rising format. We had the same format last week, but as a reminder, we now have upgraded to 16 players that will first compete over the course of 3 games, where the top 8 players will advance and maintain their points as well. That is the important thing. They move on to stage 2, where those same 8 players will compete in 2 games with the point values of those 2 games doubled. So if first is worth 20 points and 8th is doubled as well, it's only worth 2 points though. But then at the end of all 5 games, the top 4 players will qualify for next week's Fight Night Rising, which yeah, I mean, we're sending it off on set 6, because next week will be the PvE in set 6.5. Boop, that's pretty exciting stuff. What do you thought about PvE so far?
I like it so far. I think it's probably the best definition of what a half set should be.
Yeah.
And that's exciting for me. So I think there's going to be a good core gameplay. Everyone who's good at set 6 is obviously going to be pretty good at set 6.5. There's a couple units in it that are pretty interesting, right? Ari's not very good right now, but I think her ultimate is a cool idea, right? Again, we've got some, the Debonaires are all really cool, but before we get there again, right?
Yeah.
We got some cool things to look forward to, but we've got some good players to look at today, especially one of them who is going to be playing in the mid-set finale.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go ahead and get into our lobbies here. We have, or at least introduce the players in the lobbies. Lobby A has Asa, will be competing in the mid-set finale starting tomorrow. Also joined by AZL, Big Sunny D, Draco, Dog Guy, Prine2, Siegs, and Spetham to run out Lobby A. But Boop, we have Lobby B as well.
Yeah, we have Banana in Pajama, Camelot, Chun Chun Maru, Ooh, Minax, NA, Papa Lev, Top 8 Bronco, Unyuki, and Yiggles, who is on their 3rd week back, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. It's wonderful we have another Uwu name, not only Damn Daniel, but also now Chun Chun Maru. Absolutely love it. We also have some bit of a prize pool that these players are going to be competing for. It is $150 going to first place, second place earning 75, and third place getting 50, fourth getting 25. And or not like the old Fight Night Rising, top 3 don't get invited back, top 4 get invited back. So one more slot gets invited back for next week's competition. Boop. I think that about wraps it up for all the housekeeping stuff here, but we do have this one more week of set 6, and I think this will have a lot of implications, especially leaning into tomorrow's mid-set finale, because there was a little bit of a B patch, right? Which honestly wasn't really that big. There was some augment changes, a couple of unit changes. I think like Swain got a little bit nerfed, and like 7 Innovator got a little bit nerfed, but I don't really think it'll have that much of an impact. But what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think we're going to be entering that outside of the augment situation with Colossus or armored plating.
Yeah.
I think the overarching theme is that Innovator 7 was clocking some lobbies, like no problem. So I think a little bit of tuning there was appropriate. And so I think Imperial's got a little bit of tuning, with the Swain, Arcanist have been getting really popular recently. The IEJG Lux has been super popular. So, I think it's good moving into the week, and it should have even things out a little bit more than it already kind of was.
Yeah, it's already kind of settling in a very nice spot, and I think it's really good to have, the most important tournament on this set, come up with this patch that is kind of refined. I think the meta's in a solid spot. So let's go ahead and see how much these changes actually do matter as we go ahead and get into game number 1, perspective of a Spetham.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Let's see. We got the bow. So bow, one of the better starting items just in general. I remember I think 6 out of 8 people tried to go for a bow
Yeah.
last week. There's a little amoeba moving across the carousel, but we're gonna start with the Caitlyn. And so the bow is again something that is pretty flexible. You can slam the shiv if you get the tier. If you get the crit glove, you can get that last whisper going. But in reality, the bow is not something that's going to lock you into anything substantial right away. It's going to be the second and third items that get you there. And we got a tier 3 Yordle, so a 3-cost Yordle here, so we could get Yordles going pretty easily along with some Arcanus too.
Definitely could. Poppy's in shop as well, so could have Vex Poppy. Just needs, you know, Lulu, Ziggs, Tristana, a lot of different Yordles, even, you know, Heimerdinger, right? And get you to that 3 Yordle, start printing some money. It's actually very interesting because while a lot of players will go this Yordle opener if it's presented to them, some players will just full dodge it, right? They just won't ever go for the Yordles because it has their early game be a bit too weak and they just want to go for that strong early win streak. But looking at this first prismatic augment, Boop, we already have, or excuse me, the augment, we do have a prismatic one.
I cast all the prismatic augments. I don't get to play any of them.
Yeah.
As oh, Knife's Edge in the front row. The prismatic version gives a good amount of AD, and the interesting thing about it, though, is that the prismatic augments are supposed to kind of balance each other out, right? So you're going to get a lot of stats from the prismatic emblem, but someone else should or augment as well. And so maybe someone else has Knife's Edge, and all of a sudden you have a net neutral against somebody, but an advantage or disadvantage against somebody else. So I know that they're working on some of that stuff going into set 6.5, but here's someone else who could potentially start with that Yordle package, but we're going to go ahead and buy out the shop just to make sure that they don't appear in other shops in the next round.
Yeah, grabbing a pair as well. Also gets dropped a Vex and an Echo. It's the same pairing of units there that we saw on Spetsum's board, but Dog Guy is going to be able to make Econ here thanks to that Scrap Soul, and has 4 Scrap already, even with just the Trundle and the Ziggs in there. But is going to take out the Ziggs for the Echo, run a couple of Assassins, and we can just put a component on both Echo and Trundle, and there's good components for this, right? The belt for Echo is very strong. Either the sword or the bow is also very strong on the Trundle. Looks like it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be the bow and the belt. Both going to make items, going to be very good. Well, maybe a little bit of incorrect positioning. Okay, not punished though, because the belt could have ended up making a Ziggs, which wouldn't have got value, but either way, a strong start from Dog Guy.
I mean, there's a lot to think about when it comes to those scraps in the early game, right? You're already thinking about which components are going to go where, and then you have to think about positioning when it comes to possible components that might come up, and that's always a balance when it comes to TFT. But the Giant Slayer wasn't going to add a bunch of extra damage, but it is going to give the scrap's going to give 2 of these units completed items, which other boards just won't have, because they will only have 3 components max.
Yeah. Let's see if they go up to anything like 6 scrap. That could be fun, especially when paired with things like, you know, binary drop and everything. You can make 1.5 items turn into 3 full items. Now on board with Asa is running a Taric, so we get to see where the Socialite Hex is. It's just in the very corner. That's a great hex if you have something like a Quicksilver or a Banshee's Claw to synergize with it. Otherwise, it's very vulnerable to Blitzcrank. But for Assassins, you know, doesn't really matter. Assassins just jump into the back line, like Asa has with Twitch right now, has even gone into making a Rage Blade already. Not the most flexible of items, but definitely good to try to win streak here. Asa, however, it doesn't even win on 2-1, so might not be win streaking.
Yeah, the Twitch gets cornered and has to think about what they've done over the last round or two. And Asa not crying, I guarantee you, just got something in his eye.
Yeah.
But you know, this is a really big opportunity for Asa to be in a competitive environment before going into the mid-set finale. You can get your bad games out of the way. You could kind of limit test some things here because the other players just don't have this right now, right? So This is definitely something I hope Asa squeezes in terms of opportunity when it comes to how you play. I'm not necessarily, if I'm Asa, thinking that we absolutely need to go to next week. The goal for today, I think, should be getting ready for the weekend, right? For that mid-set finale and how we do that. So we've probably not been playing a lot of PvE. Asa's probably been playing a lot of live, and you know, maybe this is something that we haven't tried before and haven't really become an expert in, whether to learn it yourself or to play it, to go against it, or to learn it yourself to play it in the big tournament. Now's the time.
Yeah. Very interesting decisions by Asa here. You know, he took a level up augment, has leveled up on par, even above usual pace, but he's lost 2 rounds in a row. He's going to win this one, it seems. Yeah, the Darius does not get extra spin off, so after those 2 rounds, he wants to turn it around, maybe get first or second pick on the carousel here, which looks like he's going to get second. And then what's he going to pick up, though? Definitely want something, I think, to make with that sword right now, whether it be a GA that can be flexible item later on, or what. I don't know. IE could be solid as well. But he's going to go... Yeah, I'm going to go for a vest there. But that's going to make a Targ, too.
Ooh. I mean, that is a lot of opportunity, speaking of which, right? Because Targ not only is going to be supporting you in healing, it's also going to be a pretty good front line for you as well. So you could kind of get that going, wash your hands with that front line, and start developing the rest of your team around that, finding your carry and really working around where that socialite hex is, especially on this particular lobby, because it is in the corner. It kind of locks out a couple carries, for example.
Yeah.
As we're moving over to Sigs, who's on the win streak right now, one of 2 people at 100 HP.
Yeah, on the win streak, and with new recruit as well. Gonna even level up to 5 so that they get 6 units on the board. Still making about 10 gold. That's all nice and fine. Gonna have 4 bruisers. This is a very tanky opener, and a lot of times HP will just win out early because the units on the other side of the field just can't deal enough damage.
It's a little bit of a race against the clock, and so especially in the early game, and even in Summoner's Rift, if, you can make an argument. There's a reason why you start Dorans, right? Because it gives you health.
Yep.
And so same thing here when it comes to TFT. Starting with health is a pretty big deal. So things like the belt. That's why a lot of people like building Warmogs first, because there are just some carries that can become hyper carries later on that literally throw bed sheets at you in terms of damage to start, right? So that is something you have to push through, and I know Sigs has before. I think Sigs has been here before and has won,
I believe so.
or has been here a couple weeks. I think fell victim to the 3-week curse back in the day, which is going to be a lot easier to do with 16 people. But the big thing here is that now that we're at 100 HP, we really want to win this next round, so we can continue that win streak going, and we might go up against Dog Guy. We don't. But this is going to be a tough go.
Yeah, it's going to be a Darius 2 with an Ionic already slammed. Tristana with a Last Whisper. Not the strongest of boards here, so I think Sigs could still win this one. Yeah, the Katarina gets the kill on Tristana. Might be enough, but if this Darius spins on all 3, that's a lot of healing. It's not going to be enough, I don't think. Can Caitlyn do it? Oh, no, Caitlyn can't do it.
Can do it. Caitlyn.
HP.
Yep, made it, made it interesting, but ultimately the same result happened. 2 people, 100 HP, moving into the carousels. We move over to Draco, visiting us from Hogwarts.
Yeah. Took the item grab bag, has a Reforger and some solid items, I would say, for us. It's very good on Echo. Locket with the recent changes, I think, is a nice item that you can make work throughout the whole game, honestly. Giant Slayer, not bad either.
Man, who thought in a world that we'd have Locket and Frozen Heart on the same unit? It went into the backline at the beginning of this set, but here we are. Locket, I like the item. I think it's pretty fun to slam. Yeah. It is difficult to invest the large rod into it, but every time I see it, it tends to do it well. As we try to complete some of our other itemization here, we do have the Yordle package on this board, so we've been developing that economy along with the scrap, so we've been able to kind of balance our wins and losses. But we did lose our streak last round, which is a little unfortunate.
Just a little bit. I wonder if we go full into the aura items and Draco just make a chalice here. Would still keep it flexible, would still be farming gold from the Yordles. I don't think it's a bad idea by any means. I guess it really just depends on what direction Draco wants to go with this. Could be some syndicates, right? There's already Shaco on the board, and there's Darius and Zyra on the bench, but could be innovators very much as well. I think there's a Heimerdinger potential there. If we, find a Seraphine early, could definitely just, pick up an Ezreal, pick up a Singe on the way, and innovators, very, very good, especially in the mid game.
And so this Echo is actually going to be doing a lot of work into the backline, especially since the Frozen Heart is tagged on 4 people at the moment. And things like the Shiv just aren't going to be as strong around it. And now that they've broken through a little bit of it in the backline, they can finally get to the Echo. But the Echo single-handedly helped get 2 of those units down. So this loss could have been much worse without that slam. And the other thing is if you really don't like it, you know, moving forward, you can always just reforge those items. Those are good items to reforge at the end of the day.
Exactly. Hopefully going to get some good stuff for it. But we move over to Prine, who is another Yordle player. Actually got the Enchanter Prismatic Augment there. So it's running 3 Enchanters, even only having 1 on the field. That's going to be really nice, especially if people are trending towards AP this game. And with that last Chalice slam that we saw on that last board from Draco, it could very well lean into that if it's not reforged. I don't think this is a bad choice nonetheless. It's always interesting to consider, like, what you have picked that augment like over, like what were the other options. But Prine, I think, identifying this lobby might trend towards AP, and Sig's right there already has a Lux with a dual gauntlet.
This comp should not lose to the Lux, but will lose against a frontline, right?
Yeah.
So the Lux isn't the reason why this team wins, but it's going to be the lack of frontline for Prime.
Oh,
that's that's going to get a pretty big loss there, 51 HP. And that's the thing about Yordles that you said at the very beginning of the game, that was always a possibility, right? You might just bottom out a little too soon and not have enough HP resource to finish out the game. We're okay at 51. We could definitely feel better about it as we move into our next augment, which is going to be gold.
Gold tier.
We got Metabolic and Portable Forge, which is apparently the most popular augment in TFT.
Eternal Winter, Randuin's Anima Visage. Okay, Eternal Winter or Anima Visage, probably the choices. And yeah, it's going to be Eternal Winter. Such a good item, especially now that Vex upgrade came through. That last fight, if this was the board during last fight, it would have been definitely not a 6-0, right? It might have even been close to a win, honestly.
Yep. Eternal Winter is probably one of the most frustrating items to go against in the entire game. A lot of, I think, players undervalue defensive items in general in most games. For example, you know, it is a lot more fun potentially to build an IE or to make a collector if you were offered one for one. But when it comes to winning the game, things like Eternal Winter will always provide really good upside for you, as opposed to something like the collector that might not provide anything for you in a round. So if you're ever just like, hey, why am I losing? It might be because you're building too many offensive components. And so I do like seeing this front line getting developed. You have the vest on her already, so that's going to turn into a Thorn Mail or something of the like a little later too. And we'll see this Vex is going to be tough to bring down.
Yeah, she's still full HP. Already got through, you know, one whole shield, one whole cast. Backline doing decent as well. That Ziggs making a locket allows Lissandra the time to apply Morellos and actually win the fight. And this is winning the fight versus a 100 HP player that is Dog Guy. Sure, Prime leveled up, right? Level 7 on 3-3 is a bit quick, a bit fast-paced, but that fight was super, super strong, again, based on that Vex in the Eternal Winter.
And what's really cool is I continue to put on praise for this comp that, you know, may or may not be a winning comp, but definitely competes for top 4, is the fact that we do have the 3 enchanters. So if we do get the Thorn Mail on the Vex, which we might be doing right now with that vest, you're going to be fine against AD, you're going to be fine against AP with enchanters, and when you do make it to the top 4, you're going to be pretty flexible in how you kind of try to counter the lobby because of this. So yeah. Overall, Portable Forge, good augment. Eternal Winter, good item. Vex, good unit.
Yeah. Had to take it over Metabolic Accelerator, though, which I know we were memeing about last week. But being in the spot where you're 51 HP, sure, you only get to heal 10 HP per stage as opposed to 12, because the healing only comes after PvP phases now. It's still very, very strong and could have actually been the better augment overall. But Eternal Winter is certainly helping to save a lot of HP as well, so you gotta... There's some risk and some, I think, merit to both of them here.
Yeah, there's definitely some give and take because with Metabolic, you're probably going to continue losing those rounds.
Yep.
With Portable, you're going to get an immediate advantage that's going to fall off potentially a little bit later. So there is always going to have that give and take, and it kind of is a hindsight thing to see which one was the right decision at the time. As a lot of Morellos getting built in this lobby. Again, if apparently one of the most popular early game item, and it's for good reason, because it is the biggest reason why AZL right now isn't losing by 6 units is because of the umbrellas.
Yeah, it's on a Twisted Fate as well with Syndicate 5. Pretty strong, didn't end up winning because Dog Guy went to level 7, has a strong board, but okay, now a pair of Brahms and actually golden ticketing their way into a Shaco 2. This is a solid Syndicate board that's going to remain Syndicate the whole time. Shaco 3 is definitely a potential lobby winner. Assassins do hard counter certain compositions, right? They do super well against any, like, Protector re-rolling. They do well against Arcanist as well. But it all depends on which side Shaco jumps to. AZL scouting a little bit there, but not moving the Shaco at all. He's going to jump into a decent spot this time around, however.
Yeah, assassin players are really frustrating for a lot of people because it creates a situation where the entire lobby has to respond to it. So all of a sudden, every single round, if you're going to go up against the assassin player, if that's a possibility, you have to position for that. As this round is actually moderately close, but AZL might be able to pull this off. It's going to be Heimerdinger against the world. Zyra misses the ult somehow, but Draco will fall. But yeah, Borello's again kind of an MVP in that situation. Prine also hasn't lost just yet ever since we got that Eternal Winter, and we're going to win another round there too.
That is very true. AZL finds an upgrade as well with this Zyra. Let's see, Echo goes in over the Twitch. Very nice. But it's just going to be a, can I reach, level 8, or do I reroll on level 7 for that Shaco 3? Decisions have to be made. Hopefully good items do drop here, because the items that AZL has right now are honestly pretty perfect. Maybe you could ask for that Ionic to be something else, but Morello's super good. Get you through the early game.
We want the crit glove.
Yeah, want the crit glove.
Oh,
there it is.
There it is.
All right. Even
and
Frozen Heart could be. Yeah,
great minds.
Same time, yep.
Because that is exactly what Frozen Heart is, right? Just as one of those items, like, oh, nice. Right? It's it's like when you find an onion ring with your fries. That's what Frozen Heart is. It's like, it's cool. Like, I can use this. And
not what I asked for, but I'll take it. Like, it's
good. And it's gonna be really nice because any type of defense for assassins is extra power, right? The whole point about assassins is they're paper thin. It takes no damage at all to take them out. But now with the Frozen Heart, it's going to take just a little while longer for those auto attacks to land, and that might be the difference maker, as well as we have a Sunfire board here too, which is going to be even better for these assassins, as the damage per second at the early game should butter them up as they take them down. But this is a Yone 2 already.
Yeah. Big Sunny D. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you go to 19 HP at Wolves, is you have a lot of money to roll down with and hopefully hit. And Big Sunny D did hit. They have Thrill of the Hunt as well. That synergizes real nicely with that Yone. I think Thrill was even buffed a little bit coming into this B patch. I think the healing went up by about 100 there. Yeah, it did. So even better for that board.
A lot of Frozen Hearts today.
Good item.
Yeah.
Can't blame him. Ace is still
one of those items
that always, too.
Yeah, it's always one of those items that always sneaks in. Like, it always ends up being okay. Especially, again, if it's one of those conciliatory items that you're like, oh, awesome. We'll take it. Yep. And assassins are great for using it. Frontliners are great for using it. So the amount of people that it can fit on is actually pretty good. As Dog Guy also has a Yone 2. And now that there are 2 Yone 2s, Asa's probably feeling a little concerned. Might win this round. But at the end of the day, there are not a lot of Yones left.
No, definitely not. When half the Yone's already out of the pool, Asa might pivot and has a Jhin on the board. Could end up going Jhin. Rageblade's not great for him. BT, not really best either, but is still winning even versus Yone 2s. Dog Guy had the HP advantage, but is still running that Scrap Soul, though.
Stand United is working some wonders right now.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to this team comp, I believe that's 3 for the gold version. 21 extra damage, attack damage across the board. So even though that it's Yone 1, we do get a little compensation with Stand United, but we're still super skinny on that Yone. So that Bloodthirster is giving us, we got to get a lot out of that Bloodthirster or nothing, because now we're moving over to Clapio. Just give us Clapio, Mort. Just give it to us.
Well, he's not clapping quite yet, right? There's no IE there,
Occasional
but
clap, yo. All right.
occasional clappio, yeah. Oh, there
There
he
it
goes. He
is. We got a
clapped.
clap. He's clap yo now. Yep.
And lands down. I mean, this is still strong for this point in the game, I think, regardless if he claps or not. It's still decent. Dark. Not healing him up, actually. Healed up the Echo instead. Gonna get another slam down. Oh, no. Rip.
Needs to watch Space Jam.
Yeah.
Welcome to the slam, right? You got to get that Space Jam down. Remember Space Jam, the comp? That was awesome.
I do. Gunmei. I think of Gunmei every single time I hear that name.
I hope you think about me every time you hear anything.
For some things, yeah, definitely, for sure.
Everything should remind you of me. I'm constantly in your head. Anyway.
Rent free.
Yeah, rent free. 44 HP, and look at where Dog Eye was at 100 not too long ago. Now all of a sudden, potentially getting a bottom 4, but this HP differential is pretty slim, except for Big Sunny D there at the bottom. We now have Sigs, who we know is running the Lux.
Yep. Now, oh, does not have the blue buff quite yet. Hopefully, we'll drop one a tier from the Raptors, but that's kind of the last chance. Does have the Anima Visage actually on the Braum. So that Braum is super tanky. Gonna buy a lot of time for that Lux to deal damage. And Sigs is kind of greeding out here. Hasn't leveled up to 8 and rolled down like many people will do on 4-5. He's actually just waiting all the way until post Raptors. And I think actually with the tankiness of this Braum, might be rewarded for it.
You know, could also even put even more items on it. Dragon's Claw is not something that people build, but we do have the Visage on the board. Trapped in the animation, but the ult still goes off. But look at this. This Braum is the tankiest Braum you ever did see. Beautiful ultimate, but has enough been done? The Eternal Winter from Prime has only lost once since the last time that we were there. So it's Eternal Winter versus the Anima Visage in terms of how we're going to see this work, but I think the shield with the Eternal Winter is just such good synergy.
Yeah, both comps stalled such a long time. Tier 2 Vex versus the Tier 2 Braum, but did not go the way of Sigs, unfortunately. Now Spellblade is the potential pickup here, and I think it almost has to be. Zen United is okay. Spellblade might be a bit more valuable, though.
Anytime I see Spellblade, I had a friend when I was like, oh, you got Spellblade, and then they went BLADE, and I just lost it, man. Sometimes it takes nothing in order, in order to get me. You know, I did recommend a spelling bee one day, a TFT spelling bee.
I saw that, actually.
Yeah, that was the inspiration.
Yeah, I think with knowing TFT players' track record on geography, I'm not so sure I'm confident about any of their other skills, like spelling or anything like that. So it could be some good content, though.
I like how you said any of their other skills.
Any skills that aren't directly related to TFT, honestly, like, you know, it's a big question mark.
I know that from personal experience. So Sigs now with that Lux. Lux has been doing really, really great on the ladder so far. Should be able to one-shot a lot of units, but not at tier 1. Is already CC'd as well. This first ult is only going to be going through shields. We're going to have to wait through to the second one, and they barely even made it through the shields, but there's a lot of healing going on for Sig's board, and we're going to really need an artillery mage out of that Lux, and that's just not going to happen. Not enough damage. We really, really need that Lux 2 at this point.
Yep, need Lux 2, need the blue buff. Both things that both still have to be found. 45 HP, though, is towards the top end of the lobby. No one is above 50 at this point. No one is running away with this game. There is still Big Sunny D clinging on at 5 HP, though. They've been there for a few rounds. They've solidified their composition. I believe it was the Yone board with challengers. So probably has found perfect items at this point. Just needs to, you know, go level 8. Get a nice endgame board. They are very, very close to it, if not already there.
Asa in 7th place right now. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, still 2 lives
Blue
remaining.
Buff? No
blue. Wow.
No blue. So we're going to have to work with something else. Spetham now at the top of the leaderboard. We know that Spetham can start off strong, but had a pretty rough finish last week. Barely squeaked into coming back this week. Has Attack Crown. as well. So we're going to be able to get an extra unit in after this pivot is completed.
Some great Mundo items as well. There's the Tactician's Crown. Really good Jin or, Urgot items. They're going to be Urgot items because of, this comp running 4 Bruisers and having Knife's Edge. You can't really position Jin all the way up there. Urgot, though, he's perfectly A-okay in the first, in the second row, rather.
Well, you can. It just won't be that fun.
Yeah, it might be a little bit much. Second row, though, good spot.
You're free to do it. You're totally free to do it, but Urgot's gonna be better. If you want to run a marathon on your hands, then put Jin there. If you want to run a marathon regularly, Urgot's the way to go, and you're seeing it. The proof is in the pudding right now. It's so interesting because Urgot's so popular in these fight nights, but it's actually something that in Platinum Flow you don't see very often. So if you're trying to climb right now, Urgot might be the way to do it, as it's a little less contested the lower you go.
Yep. Gets to run Twin Shot now with that. Cogma doesn't need the Gangplank. And replace that with something like a Clockwork or an Enforcer. I imagine this Jin's not going to remain on this board forever. This is just a standard, Chemtech, Bruiser, Urgot carry. And there's the Fiora. Gives Challenger to the Kaisa as well. And yeah, we didn't mention that really. There's a Kaisa with Morellos. So this is kind of perfect here for Spetham.
Yeah, again, Kaisa is going to be able to tag literally every single person on the board. By the time the first ult goes off, the auto tag should be there, and that should be a way to get through things like this Braum. As Prime, with the Vex, we know that there's a lot of tankiness here, so that last Whisper is going to be mega valuable, and any Giant Slayers that pop up on any of these PvE rounds or carousels might also be some difference makers for teams that don't have it just yet. But now you've got that Lux 2, almost breaks through, needs to get through the Urgot, doesn't. And the Urgot is victorious once again.
Now this fight is, Boop, it is a BT diff. Just the extra MR even from the cloak part of the Bloodthirster actually does a lot of work versus Arcanist. By them kind of dancing, popping off there. It's like, yeah, I got a strong comp. I'm even winning versus this super, super strong Lux board. Feeling real good about that one. But here we see some Innovator play revolving around the Seraphine and the Heimerdinger. This is a comp that, is not really... popped up a ton until recently, but now that it has, it's very strong.
It's the new age homeopathic comp. This comp is like an essential oil to me. I'm not quite sure it works. I gotta put that in my pocket. That's a good turn of phrase there.
Yeah,
Khroen.
that is.
But,
I
yeah.
like that.
But Heimerdinger has just caused me a lot of mental harm, some emotional damage in tournaments in the past.
Emotional damage.
I like playing Innovators, Yordle starts, all that stuff. I just don't trust it, but we'll see if I can be proven wrong. As Draco doing pretty well with it so far. Has one victory. Bloodthirster difference, though. We're in a really good point, not on the ult, but the Seraphine ult's a little too late.
ET diff, yet again. I think it was either enforcing the Seraphine or Zephyr. I think it happened to have been the Enforce, though. Seraphine didn't get to ult quite as fast, and I think that was a big part of the difference there in that fight. Urgot showing why he's so strong, so survivable.
Yeah, Bloodthirster, really, really good on a couple units, below average on kind of the rest. So it's good to see it being used. You usually only really see it on things like Shaco, and only because you couldn't get the Crit Glove. Right, and you had the Negatron Cloak, as the Akali is going to give us 5 gold and a Thornmail, which should be going right onto the Scion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, it's binary, so it's going to be going on to Janna.
Oh, yep, it will be. That is true. Good call. We're going to have 5 free items. That is some big value for binary, and it's even better because of the item grab bag that Draco got in the early game. Right, it's going to just print another item. Ooh, AZL gets Echo 3, so they are rerolling for things like Echo 3 and Shaco 3. But also, real quick, Big Sunny D to go out in 8th, and Asa actually went out in 7th.
So, again, this is a little bit of a warm-up. We do have 2 more lobbies, and anything can happen. But that is a little bit of a rough start for Asa, who is going to be participating in that mid-set finale. A lot of damage, though, going on a Sig's board. You don't really see Lux comps lose by that much very often. But, I mean, that's what happens when you get free items, especially when one of them's best in slot, like the one on Heimerdinger.
Yeah, best in slot items, even just free items, as well as just this comp, right? It synergizes so well with each other. all the healing from Seraphine and Janna. It feels like it never dies. If you do beat a board, chances are you probably wipe it because you just outlasted it, healed up all your units, and won. And that's pretty much exactly what happened there.
Tom Kench on the board now. We're going to start feeding the Kench. Sir Thomas in the backline for now. We do have some tier 3 units. You might see the Ziggs go in there. We have some units on the bench as well.
Feed Ziggs 3 to Kench.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I know.
Okay, so we're not even going to get any ZZ Rot stuff, but we do get the Shroud, so that's going to be really nice. And also, this first ult from Lissandra is going to tag most of the team. Very good Zyra ult from the Zyra 1 too, so that's going to stall out that Lux a little bit. And this is probably the worst performing Lux comp we've seen in a very, very long time. Not able to get through any of these units in time. That's why you need blue buff, friends. As even Ornn's not going to help out our friend here, as Prime will get a second victory in a row. You know, was at 51, was in last place before Wolves, I believe, and we stabilized. That itemization on the Vex is why we're here.
Exactly. Died with a Nico's help on the bench as well was Siegs, and I think was just a couple Luxes away from Lux 3. That would have bridged the gap between having a blue buff and not even a Shojin or anything that was on that Lux, so just no help at all in the mono department. Unfortunate. At least, you know, getting a 6th with that is not the worst. Every single placement matters, especially because there's only 3 games until the lobbies narrow down to the top 8. 3 games is not a ton, but a couple placements difference could make the difference.
Oh, there it is.
3.
We got the golden ticket. And we got the death stance, which is pretty nice on Shaco. Again, any defensive based utility is going to be really good. That's why Syndicate is the synergy that you use for this particular comp. And we have 7 now, so we only have 6 HP though. We did lose just on our last round. We did just get Shaco 3, however. Is that going to turn the tide as we go over to Spetham?
It should turn the tide. Shaco jumps to the correct side of the board, but good positioning from Spetham. Actually, the Frozen Heart is going to be doing work against these assassins. Shaco doesn't really care about it, though. He's just dealing way, way too much damage.
That's what too much damage looks like, folks. That is a tier 3 Mundo getting absolutely ripped apart by the Shaco. Doesn't look like he's getting ripped apart, but he's got a Frozen Heart. He's got a Gargoyle Stone plate, and he's got the Visage, I think is what it was on there, as we still have a top 5.
Dog Guy, 1 HP. Spetham at 4. This next round could potentially be 3 eliminations, but probably likely to be 1 or 2. Ezeal's so strong, though. He might be the one doing some eliminating of somebody else.
Man, 3 people on single-digit HP, 4 people at potential 1-loss territory. If for some reason Prime loses by a ton of units, that could be it. But we are going to get at least 1, maybe 2, as you said, maybe even 3 eliminations, as it's going to be the challengers for Dog Guy.
Yeah, ooh, Kaisa 2 with perfect items. Yone as well with perfect items. They're doing a lot. This Kaisa's untouched already.
Oh! One more ult
still
from
alive.
Kaisa. I think Queso's got this. Queso? Did you? I called her Queso.
Queso. You hungry?
I love that
time.
for her.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's the first time that's ever happened. That's like easy to do anyway.
Queso did not get the ult off. God, guys, eliminated. Unfortunate.
I do love me some Queso. It's AZL now. Takes down the Kaisa, along with these assassins, especially the ones that should be tier 3'd, are already here. We have the Zeeks to help even more. There is no attack speed for the Shaco, so we're going to be getting it for on the Zeeks instead.
Oh, there's one more Akali. AZL's thinking, ooh, I'm a little scared right now. Kind of want to hit the Akali too. Couple more rolls to get there.
It's so good.
Oh my god, golden ticket just refreshed like 3-4 times in a row. Oh, Shaco getting Zephyred. Spending all the time rolling, didn't reposition.
Oh, it's going to land on Vex, I think, right after this.
It might? Oh, okay,
it doesn't.
Yet.
It avoids the Vex, so that's
now
really good news.
Yeah.
It's just going to be raw damage now going on to the Vex, but Foreign Mail is the counter to Assassins. Always is, always will be, as that's going to be an elimination.
Yep, that is why you need to scout. One, so you don't get stuck on units like Vex with the Bramble, and two, so you don't get Zephyr'd. I think if both of those things were dodged, Izio could have won, but Draco takes a loss now. Spetham and Pryan hang on. This is quite the finish to this game. Syndicate emblem actually going over the Spetham.
Feeling good.
Oh, that's not just a Syndicate. That's an Urgot 3.
That sure is an Urgot 3, and it's already winning. So has already won the last 2 rounds in a row, but an Urgot 3 is kind of the nail in the coffin. But these comps are pretty strong. Tahm Kench 2 might be a good way to get access to the Urgot because it is 1 row closer than usual. But it might not matter because Urgot 3, look at that beautiful crab. Look at it. It's a crab rave on the board.
Urgot gives me nightmares from previous TFT sets. Just seeing him Tier 3 is just...
I hope Pool Party becomes a synergy at some point, and we get Crab God for it.
Crab God Pool Party? Honestly, I'm surprised there already hasn't been a Pool Party synergy.
Heartseekers, too. Those are the 2 that I'm kind of like, oh, I feel like they could put that in there, no problem.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right. Let's look at this Urgot right now. We do have the Runin so good. Look at how we're not even ulting just yet. We're taking people down literally from auto attacks. And the Thornmail doesn't really matter here because it's just too much damage all at once. Is Pryan going to be able to take this dub regardless?
Pryan
we're struggling.
Versus Draco. This Innovator board's so strong. It's all full HP in the backline there. Draco takes out Pryan to -19. I mean, Pryan will get a third. But now Spetham has to get through all those Innovators and all that healing. Urgot 3 could do it, though, I think.
If any unit can do it, it's going to be the Urgot. I love that we have the Bloodthirster on it. So we have a little bit of built-in sustain, especially when we're going to be going up against something like a Scion. So we're going to get CC'd. We know that. Yep. So we need to sustain through it. We're locked in the second row. Let's see how we do.
See here, positioning Urgot away in the opposite corner. Mundo's right in front, though, so Mundo will take a lot of the aggro and bait the Scion slam, perhaps. He will turn and hit the clump. Doesn't hit Urgot, though. That's the big thing. Oh, Kaisa already goes down. Urgot is still just tearing through absolutely everything. And there it is. That's a first for Spetham with the Urgot 3.
Urgot 3 is going to take our first lobby. A little bit of a surprise getting there, but once we got there, it was pretty much just getting everything going up until the eventual inevitable victory. As we take a gander at the next lobby. Ooh. And we have Yiggles, one of our returning players, in 7th place. That's a little unfortunate, but we do have some familiar names now. Unyuki, who is a returning player as well. Papa Lev, who's pretty well known in TFT, and Banana in Pajamas, who I love casting at Fight Night because that is a great name. But this comp right here, 5 Scholar, almost at 6. Scholar, the most popular, I think one of the most popular synergies, and also one of the highest win rate synergies in general.
And I made internal bets that the name you'd call out first at this Fight Night would be Dog Guy, but no, it's not. It's Banana and Pajama instead.
I know, right? Who knew? I'm in a little bit of a banana. I'm in an...
Yeah, I mean, I feel you.
Yeah, you know, Goobums likes cats.
That is true.
Yeah. That's called redirection.
Potentially the last fight of this game. 15 base damage from stage 7. Yunyuki could have 2 lives if it's just a 1-unit loss. Probably be the last fight, though. Let's see. Yumi's going to attach to the Oriana, but again, these Innovator boards are just so good. Well, it gets Zephyr, so it goes into the Heimer instead.
They have advantages in almost every aspect of a round, right? Early game has got a good front line. Late game, you're going to be ramping up anyway. And we've got another Heimerdinger comp. So, you know, this is the real deal. I'm all in. Sign me up. Give me the box. Give me the subscription. Because Unyuki is going to win out that lobby. So 2 of our returning players actually winning out their first lobbies today.
Yeah, and the other 2, the ones that actually placed, I believe, 1st and 2nd, both get 7th place in their respective lobbies, right? Asa, 7th in lobby A. And then Yiggles, who barely missed out on 1st, was 2nd place last week. 7th place in lobby B this time. Very interesting stuff. We got a little sneak peek of that lobby. Don't know exactly all the context there, but I think we do know one thing already, Boop, is that Innovator boards are pretty good, but not as good as Urgot 3.
Not as good as Urgot 3, that is for sure. As we take a look at the scores after
Yeah.
this first round, we know who won. So in the first lobby, we had that we were watching, Spetham is going to take the dub, but in lobby B, it's going to be Anuki like we just saw.
Yeah. Lobby A, Draco, then Prime, then AZL rounding the top four. Lobby B, Papalev, Banana, Pajama, and Camelot. The surprises are definitely Asa and Yiggles, but it is still nice to see that some of our returning players have that consistency as we are just in game number 1. Here we see the overall scoreboard right here. Remember that after 3 games, it will be cut to just 8 players advancing. But top 8 Bronco, unfortunately, does go top 8 in the first game. That's not new.
It might be Broncos fan, so I'm in Colorado. I love that.
True.
But very, very interesting kind of first lobby there. We're not going to see an Urgot 3 lose very many times, if ever. But looking at the other lobby, it seems like a very similar type of experience actually happened. It was a Heimerdinger comp. We had 3 people try to run it in that first lobby, and the winner of the other lobby was running it themselves. It was Heimerdinger 3, had Giant Slayer, Blue Buff, and blanking on the last item, but it seems like Heimer is here to educate some people.
Definitely is, and gonna be doing some more educating after a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back with more Fight Night Rising. Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome back to Fight Night Rising, brought to you by Wisdom. So Khroen and Boop here, giving you the action. Only one game we have had thus far, but seeing a trend of innovators, Heimerdinger doing very well. And yeah, if you do get your tier 3-4 costs, they also kind of ruin everyone else's fun. as one of those was picked up there in Lobby A by Spetham, one of our returning players. It is nice, I think, to see the consistency, as you mentioned before the break, of some of these returning players, but I think Yeagles and Asa still have a lot of work to do, but Asa as well treating this as a practice experience for the mid set, right? I think you were touching upon that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so I think the only one who's playing in the mid-set invitational out of this group.
Yeah, I think so.
We could be wrong, but we'll double check. But Asa won one of the play-ins and is going to be a part of the big mid-set finale that Khroen is going to be casting this weekend, and there's going to be some really good opportunities again that only he's going to have, because he's the only one that's going to get a competitive environment, even with 16 people with different lobbies. You can't ask for a better warm-up situation for yourself, especially since there is also not a lot of time in between. Whatever you learn today, you can automatically institute tomorrow. It's fresh in your head.
Yeah, exactly. Fresh in your head. I think also with this new Fight Night Rising format, you get practice with swapping up the lobbies, assuming that Asa makes it into the next lobby, which he might not with the 7th start, but still the format is conducive to good practice. Overall, I think, like, oftentimes when you go into a tournament on a new TFT patch, a lot of stuff in the meta changes, but I actually think that with this B patch, the meta hasn't changed necessarily. It's just these little specific balancing, like, augments that you're still going to take in the same situations. They just function a little bit differently, so not too much shaking it up, but we'll see if it does have any implications as we do get on into game number 2 on board with you and Yuki.
All right, so this is the second lobby. We didn't get to see these players until the very end of the last one. The big story here is Yeagles, who is the longest serving old school Fight Night resident coming into the week. I think the last one that was top 3 from the old school version. So definitely has a lot of work to do, finishing in 7th place. We know that Yeagles like starting strong, right? But last week did totally different things, right? Played Mercs, played things that needed some later decisions and had to really push the envelope when it comes to Yeagles' play, and she was able to do that, almost taking the victory over Asa. I think was 1 point was the separation, 1 or 2 points. So, starting with the 7th isn't a death sentence, but another one definitely will be.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Yeagles had a pretty crazy week last week. Only had one unfortunate game during, the phase 2 of this tournament, where the point values were doubled, but started off with a 1st, and then another 1st, and then a 2nd, and then unfortunately had a 7th, and then I think rounded out with a 3rd, but still, those performances are absolutely crazy. I think Yeagles very much can bring it back, and as you're mentioning as well, Boop, I think it's a great call out. Yeagles performed super well on multiple different playstyles, not just the one that we're used to seeing her run, but was okay with going for some losing in the early game and bringing it back, right? Mercenaries, they're still going to be on the table for a lot of these players, even if they keep getting nerfed and more nerfed. If you have a good mercenary opener at 2-1, it's still worth it to play. They're still very good and can, let you get a huge cash out and then translate that into a lobby victory.
I knew I said I wouldn't talk about PBE, but I went on like a 13 win streak, Merc win streak game.
Oh, wow.
When I was on PBE, and that was fun. I had a really
5
good
mercs,
time.
3 mercs?
It was just 3. It was just 2 gold every round.
Yeah,
It was kind of like old school Fortune. Remember when winning Fortune was you could choose winning Fortune or losing a Fortune, and so it kind of felt like that. It felt nice because the bigger payouts aren't quite there, but you can kind of claw your way just economy wise. I was level 8 at 4-1 with like 50 gold still, so it still worked out pretty well. So there's even that possibility, right? If you just want to kind of put it in for a couple rounds, you don't find your tier 2 unit, swap it out.
Yep. Pve in the early game here, a lot of pairs, but not necessarily tier 2ing any units. Has a potential Morellos, so that slam I think is going to go on the Twisted Fate. And yep, there it is. Ooh, okay. Arcanist, or excuse me, Academy already for Banana in Pajama. If that goes on to a Fiora later, definitely a great holder of the Academy emblem.
Bananas in Pajamas might be a Soraka main.
Could be.
Yeah, that's a whole skin. As Pve does take the L there. Academy Spat already slammed up 2-1. That is saying something. That is a direction, right? You're going to have your 2 academies no matter what, so you're going to be able to scale, but how far into it are you wanting to be? Are you just going to have the 2 for the Yone? Are you going to have 4 or 6? It's not really something that you see a ton of in terms of chase traits either, as we're over at Mina. And we have some scouting. I think we might have a built different board, actually.
Ooh,
I saw a board without any synergies, so it's still pretty early, but could be built different.
Sometimes you also just like tier 2 random units and you actually just don't play any synergies. It doesn't happen very often, right? But it could happen. But Minax here is going to be our mercenary player of the game. Had it from 2-1. What's going to be the big thing is when they can cash out and how they're going to minimize their losses, right? You don't want to cash out with just 1 or 2 lives left. Then you had to do your whole transition turn, and it's probably going to be scuffed because you really can't do that in 35 seconds. Or 30 seconds just doesn't really work. Let's get some solid merc table rolls there already. I think that was a component.
Yeah, it's all about cashing out. Just like, there's Fortune Jail, Mercenary Jail can happen too. Mercy Jail, as I like to call it.
Jail.
And so Minax now needs to also lose this so we can guarantee a first pick on the carousel too. So Pve has bottomed out from the beginning, but you're going to be okay picking first on this particular carousel.
Oh yeah, making sure to put the Misfortune in the front lines. Just to make sure you lose, right? Other players are running weak boards, and that is a responsibility that you have as a Merc player to make sure you scout out, hey, are there any open forters, any players running Yordles, how weak are their boards? You want to make sure that you are the weakest, because even if there's a chance you can run to that player, you should probably play around it.
Definitely, you should most definitely play around it, as we're getting there. So Pve did win that last round. It was pretty much like if there's a Merc player, it'd probably end up getting picked first anyway. And it's interesting here because we know that there's someone with the Academy spat. I wonder if they're kind of kicking themselves now as there's a Tactician's Crown play opening. But we're going to school. Academy spat was where it is.
Yeah, I think the Academy was from the Augment. So unless they get like Salvage Bin, couldn't break that one apart. But the spat is interesting though for if they want to go for a second one or just anyone else, right? I don't think they're super valuable, honestly, just spatulas anymore, especially after Imperial nerfs. Still can find some value. It's just what do you do? What direction do you commit to? As we look at Chun Maru Uwu, who is rocking some assassins.
Can you try again?
Yeah, sorry. Chun Maru Uwu. Is that better?
I appreciate it. Yeah. Nice. It's phonetic, so just needed the all-in potential there. It's gonna be.
You say ooh on broadcast.
Yeah. That's really what it is. There's no spinning on that one. Yeah. Spin room could take a little bit of a rest. But we have Ezreal that's gonna lock in our 4 assassins. We're gonna absolutely destroy this board, which is fine because that's what the Mercs want. I like seeing Ezreal in roles that aren't traditionally Ezreal roles, whether that be on Summoner's Rift in the jungle or mid lane.
Support Ezreal. Yeah,
support Ezreal, or yeah, exactly. All you Ashe support mains.
Yeah.
But we, same here on TFT with the assassin. He's actually putting out a lot of damage. So if he gets a good spot and is able to kind of target the same person Shaco is targeting from afar, that's the perfect scenario.
Definitely. He's going to be outputting a decent amount of damage. And actually, with this Zillion in the shop, could be rocking Innovator. Maybe not right now on level 5, but once we get to level 6 on stage 3, wouldn't be terrible.
Not at all, especially since Innovators have done so well. But if it was Heimerdinger, I'd probably feel a little bit better about it.
Assassin Heimer.
Yeah. But we have the Ezreal to start things off with the Crab, which was apparently supposed to be Rammus. I don't know if you read that. A little piece of TFT trivia. That's why it does reflect damage.
Okay, interesting.
But then they were like, well, we don't want Rammus's first appearance to be as a summon.
Yeah, that'd be a little BM.
They just took him out.
Oh, wow, losing that round. That's terrible. That round looked like it should have been a win, and it snaps the streak of Chun Maru. That's really feels bad there. But Panamajana is jamming and is still 100 HP.
It's actually crazy. I have yes, I'm getting that he's actually listening to Baby Shark. So, you know, it might not look that way, but Baby Shark is rifling through those eardrums
Yeah, it's a banger.
right now. Definitely a banger. It ends on a lowered 7th, and that's why it is so maddening scientifically. Anyway, Banana Pajama, though, has a pretty good front line. 5 wins in a row with just tier 1 units. We did get the Academy Soul there. Good items on the Malzahar, so we do have an AP direction, especially since we do have the blue buff. But the Academy Malzahar is really, really nice. Think about a unit that ults more than that.
Yeah, it's going to be ulting a lot, especially with the help of that blue buff. Morella's is nice as well to start spreading all of that true damage. We just have a solid board here. I wonder how long these moons are going to be played for, because Cho'Gath's a unit that, yeah, if you have it early, he's going to start stacking, he's going to be strong, but there's no items dedicated to this Cho'Gath. There is also not really an incentive to keep with it either, because, again, Academy could lead us in an entirely different direction. We could have a kind of a Lux composition. Blue buff's already there. Not really close to the Eye-Jewel Gauntlet. Still need 3 more components for that, and specific components at that. But there's a lot of direction, I think, here. That's the main thing to take away from Banana's board, and especially with the Swains on the bench, it does lean towards just the Arcanist route.
Good Shroud. Is it going to be enough to take down a unit or two? The TF is definitely at risk, but this is going to be a green win. But by how much? We've got Malzahar versus Malzahar. One Malzahar just inherently going to be stronger than the other. That's going to be the Academy one. And this should be Banana and Pajama again, taking the dub.
And it will be. 6 win streak now. Did that thing, leveled up to 6 on 3-1 to protect the streak. Got rewarded, got the win, made 30 gold. Everything's perfect here in Banana and Pajama land.
That was a good show, Bananas and Pajamas, back in the day. Did you watch it?
This is a show? I have not watched it, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, we do have the Merc board, and it looks like we did cash out. That is a victory there. We got a lot of items. We have a loaded dice as well on the board. So that wasn't from an augment. So that definitely was from the cash out. We're going to keep the Mercs in for now. And this is what I was talking about. Sometimes the winning version might be a little better because after your cash out, you're like, well, I guess I'm going to try again.
Yeah. What now? Do we keep in there? And it looks like, yeah, there might have been a component or two, but it's just a lot of gold. That's why Minax leveled to 7 on 3-2 and still has about 40 gold. Might even still go on a bit of a loss streak. And I think that's okay. Being at 64 HP, it's, you know, not even the lowest in the lobby while running Mercs. Not bad.
Yeah, that's concerning. If you're running Mercs and you're not for the other person, and you're not the lowest in the lobby. As we get
Enforcer
augments here,
maybe. Weak spot, not great with these items choices. Wait a minute,
what? 1%.
1%, by the way. Tom Kench on
now
7.
Are we gonna Merc 5? Merc 5, let's do it.
I would need to roll into the GP. Do you ever press roll a few times here to try to find the GP?
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, of course I do. I'm not the one. I'm not the one that you're asking. Yeah,
that's true.
Of course I'm doing it. I act the same way when it comes to mercenaries as I do with the buffet. You just have to pull me away, or else I'm just staying there forever.
Yeah, can't leave.
Can't leave. There's too much food to eat. If I spend $50 on this buffet, I'm eating $50 worth of food. That's the only way to make it worth it.
I have the stomach of a bird, so buffets are just not value for me at all. Unfortunate.
Stomach of a bird. Never heard anyone describe themselves that way. As
Urgot for everything.
Yeah, Urgot gonna get pulled in. Actually, get that ult off. Try to shoot through some of that Blitzcrank shield, but the scrap's a little too strong. That's also an Innovator heart. So innovators might be coming through again. We're going to get another Merc cash out, as well as some extra gold and an item because of this early Tom Kench at 3-3.
Another one. That's all right. Minax has won the lobby. Everyone else is playing for second. We can wrap it up.
Well, unless
we realize
unless we realize we're winning the lobby and we kind of forget how to play. That happens. We've seen it happen before. GP. We've seen like the forever pivot. Please just grab the GP. Just GP. Do it for us.
Oh, they sold the Quinn actually, so it couldn't have. Oh, okay. They
It's
weren't
going to be in the
they weren't
next shop
prepping
watch.
for the GP on carousel misplay.
You got Doomsday Preppers, right? It's got the
Yeah.
GP. And Yuki now, who I think was at the bottom of the leaderboard for a bit, running Innovators once again. Why not? You won the last lobby with it.
Yeah. Go for it again. They're strong. Double Chalice. It's crazy that people kind of realized how good Chalice is again when it got buffed and they nerfed it, and they're like, hey, it's still good. Chalice is still a thing that we should build, and it works really well with this one comp called Innovators.
I think TFT players are some of the slowest adopters to things like that.
Definitely can be.
Right? In terms of things that have been good the whole time, sometimes they need to get buffed, and it has to be like, see, we were here the whole time.
Yep, see that little push. You're like, oh, let's try it. Oh, that feels pretty good.
Yeah, Locket's a great example of it in the early game. There are people who were literally allergic to it when it got buffed, and all of a sudden, it's something that we see every so often.
Yeah.
But on Yuki now, it's not looking good.
No.
So far. Good Darius swipe.
So close.
And Yuki is going to lose out that round. Camelot running something similar over there. So Innovators definitely contested.
Definitely contested. Eagles had the Innovator Heart as well. Zillion upgrade for you, Yuki. Not bad. Definitely not the greatest spot, though. The gold isn't fantastic. The HP is rather low. The upgrades, not really there, besides for a few units, right? Not the carries, not the Malzahar. Oriana 1, I guess, which is a little bit redeeming, but definitely a long way to go with this board. Definitely wants Heimerdinger. Seraphine, hopefully. I think Yuki's going to be forced to roll down at level 7, try to stabilize even harder, because this board, unfortunately, still not what you would call stable.
Yeah, I think this board's going to require just a tad bit of luck. In order to truly stabilize and feel good about it. Great placement on the dummy, though, keeping the backline safe from the Katarina, but not enough. It does help take down a unit or two, but it's not going to help you win the round. And then Yuki now dangerously low. This is where you start thinking about maybe not even making the next augment.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a possibility. There is. I mean, if Yuki doesn't roll down and tries to greed to go level 8, then yeah, I think we're actually not making the next augment. But I think Yuki's a good enough player towards they won't make that mistake necessarily. Unlikely for it to be made.
Everyone hanging out.
Oh, another Merc player, actually.
Yeah.
Top 8 Bronco. Needs to cash out at like 4-1 or 4-2 at the latest, I think, to have a chance in this game.
It's going to be a much more entertaining cash out, most likely, because that lead loss streak has been much lower. Oh, 2 crit gloves. Unfortunately, we mixed up the AP and AD there, so we get a little bit of both. Instead, as we go over to Yiggles, who has the scrap emblem, we do have a Reforger too, and a spat. Yiggles gets a lot of spats, more than most players, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. What's Yiggles going to make happen with this board? Do we continue to roll more, try to get 5 Innovator? Just need to find, I mean, could find a Jace, right? 1%, by the way. Just like that Tom Kench earlier, but likely to find a Seraphine first. Is not going to go that route, though. It's going to go 5 Scrap 4 Innovator instead. Not the cleanest synergy numbers, but, I guess we're working with what we got here for Yiggles.
Exactly. And, it's not your favorite meal, but you're going to eat it. It's available. Ooh. That was a nice CC coming in there. And again, we're going to see how good Vex is in terms of the tankiness. This Vex is not going to be nearly as tanky as the one that we saw earlier, but it is going to have that shielding. It does have the Thorn Mail, and we are seeing the extra item with the Scrap too. So that can turn into something like a red buff to help things out, or even a Gargoyle Stone Plate, which would be super helpful in that front line.
Yep. Yiggles selling the Jhin, does not want to go snipers or anything Jhin related, even though Last Whisper is there and could have been a pivot. Yiggles going to steer clear. Probably not going to go level 8 here, would not have that much gold to roll with. If they go 8, it will be either at 4-5 or on 5-1. Probably going to be likely 4-5, I would say.
I think we're this is a tough place to be because your hand is forced, right? You've got a little bit of the lobby running away, and the top side of the lobby is pretty far ahead right now, especially when someone in like 3rd or 4th place is on fire. That comp is probably pretty strong. So at this point in the game, you really have to start making moves, and you don't want to make too many moves or else you can start falling behind by using too many resources, but you also don't want to get left behind, and Eagles is like right in the middle of that. It's kind of like being in a pickle in baseball.
Yeah. Oh, Yoon Yuki, Seraphine 2, Double Chouse, Oriana buffing it up. That's where Yiggles' board kind of wants to be, but it is pretty far away from that. Yoon Yuki still on 30 gold. Does find an Ori, though. So we get
That's something.
partially there. But even still, there's not going to be the items to support that. It is more AD focused, these items. Maybe a Jace carry. Need to get there, and top 8 Bronco, are they going to get to that cash out? Just 1 round remaining. Any loss will be defeat. Maybe top 8 Bronco is the one that doesn't get to the next augment.
Oh, man, I probably would have, yeah, okay,
There we go.
definitely switching some things out onto the Fiora. Fiora can take a lobby, no problem. So, especially with GA, and if you res with the GA, but who are we going up against? Is Yuki.
Yeah, that's a
gotta
rough
get into
matchup.
the back line. Is top 8 Bronco gonna win out this time? All right, good Oriana ult, but the Fiora's in the back line. We do already take down the Heimerdinger. We don't have the GA set just yet. This is possible. This is possible.
Oh, no.
No.
That's probably the worst matchup that top 8 Bronco could have ran into. Fiora 2 with 2 really good items, MF, but that's going to be an 8th. You get stuck in mercenary jail, Boop, and that's what happens when you do.
Mm-hmm. Going to the brig, and you're going to stay there, friends, unfortunately, with those mercs. Get your money back. You hired them, and they stole from you instead. You can't expect anything less from people like Sarah Fortune and Game.
True. Well, not the first names there. Oof.
Yeah. I know.
Lore.
Sarah. Probably could have just guessed it at some point, you know? It's like, I think if you, like, it's like 20 questions with me. I feel like if you just get enough time, you'll just land on Chris. Or even Boopasaurus, you never know.
Yeah, good possibility. It's like what was a theory of, like, you give a monkey a typewriter and eventually he'll type out a work of Shakespeare or something like that?
Yeah. Just eventually enough words would be typed in. As we roll down to 0 here, if you're Yiggles, we still have a spat, and unfortunately... what are we going to use with it?
Could be another academy.
It could be another academy.
Could be Syndicate, could be Imperial. Probably nothing super appealing, though. But the board's still fine, right? We have 5 Innovator now with the Seraphine, 4 Scrap. Not bad.
Yeah, and Mannix actually just got the tier 2 Tom Kench, who's been farming items. We did just lose a round, so maybe we could have been a little bit further ahead than we are right now. The roll on the Echo is not amazing either. We have damage instead of tankiness. We want the tankiness, but all the damage is already being done, and sometimes I think you just need a Vex, right? And that's about it. As the Thord Mail, you saw, got the shakeout earlier, and now is helping this squad do quite well.
Yeah. Doing very well. No one else is being threatened to be eliminated right now. Yoon Yuki, even at the bottom, is on a win streak. Same with Papa at the top of the lobby, 68 HP still, as we get our final augment, and it's going to be self-repair. That's a snap pickup from Yiggles there. Oh, that bear in the front line is going to be very, very nice. Reviving itself, more value. But Vex, I think, is leaving this board finally.
It's been doing so well. This is why it's hard not to develop relationships with your units, because it's a big reason why it's been working. But now we've got the bear, now we've got the Braum. We don't quite need it, but where's the Thorn Mail and the Scrap gonna go? All of them are probably gonna go on the same unit, but which one?
Gonna be the Braum. Scrap Braum. Morello's and the Seraphine. Gonna give her a Shojin's as well. That's really nice. And a no item Heimer, but he's going to be on that Socialite Hex, so still dealing a lot of damage. Galio actually gets picked up.
Second Galio.
Probably it doesn't have the room to run it, though. It's so hard to run units like Galio or Scion in Innovators because they just want a bunch of units to contribute to the cause of, healing, providing traits for the Innovator, things like that.
Ooh,
which
lots
is
of,
a lot of
it seems
straight.
like innovator comps tend to do their damage slowly, but when you have two chalices in the back line, right, it's going to be a little bit quicker, and just the raw stats, especially when you go
Oh,
innovator versus innovator or something like that, it's going to be a lot better, as this Tom Kench is a Tom Kench 2, folks, and
yeah.
it's already given us some value.
Tom Kench 2 with perfect items, some value. Look at that bench, Boop. That is a whole store of items right there.
Yeah, that's a Costco.
Oh my. Yeah,
Yeah.
this. Remember when I said playing for, this lobby is already over? Everyone else playing for second? Like, I wasn't lying. This is. Yeah,
We
this is
might get a tier
disgusting.
3. We might get a tier 3/5 cost unit on this board, depending on how
Potentially.
things go. If we keep going on some of our 5 cost units, because it's only around 5-1. Like, we still got a lot of game to play.
Yeah. Actually saw, I think I was watching, what's like a Nico's stream yesterday, a couple days ago. Got a Galio 3. It was kind of crazy.
He's on the brink of becoming an amazing player. That's
Yeah.
my dark horse for the mid-set finale, by the way.
Nico.
Also,
Definitely
great
great
guy.
player.
Does charity streams just because he can.
Yeah.
Right? Super cool. As we're going to keep
Love
feeding our Sir Thomas Kench. I think personality vouch as well. And we're going to feed some Victor over to it, and we're going to keep gaining that power. We don't even need to put the items on right now because we're already winning.
Hey, I eat Jewel Gauntlet just because you can. Why not? There's just so many items here. Like, what do you do? Okay, Warmogs for Mundo, great. Still have items left over. Challenger emblem, could be.
Who's the what's it? Maybe. We have Celestial Trade Sector, and we have Stand United for Camelot, who started really, really strong in this lobby, but has started to fall off a little bit. The Jewel Gauntlet IE combo on the Kaisa, not a ton of damage right now. But again, it doesn't really matter. This is just kind of another coronation type of lobby with this Tom Kench, who's been here since round 3-2, I believe. So
Yeah.
it's been at least 8-9 rounds of a Tom Kench. We're already Tom Kench 2. It'd be awesome just to have a Tom Kench 1 for some boards right now.
I know. This is crazy. And there's still like a lot of options too. Like it could be a challenger emblem, could be a mutant emblem. One more belt means that Amarellos can go onto Kaisa as well. She's just gonna be doing a lot of damage. Minax can go level 9 and not be threatened because his board's already super strong. There's a Yumi too as well, by the way, with Morellos, so I guess no Morellos needed on the Kaisa. It still has the loaded dice there.
That's why I'm saying let's get that
Here's the mutant.
yeah, let's get that tier 3
Giantslayer.
5 cost unit. I think it's possible, especially with the loaded dice to help us along. But we
Yeah.
need a long game to make that happen. Shaco 3 now from Chun Chun Maru. So things are, shaping up to be a pretty intense end of the lobby, especially with 7 people still remaining at round 5-2. Yeah, usually you get 1 or 2 eliminations, but there are 7 people still here, and I think 3 or 4 really good comps. But the one we're watching right now is the one to beat, definitely. But once this Tom Kench kind of maxes out, right, eventually there just won't be enough room item wise, right? And sometimes someone gets a tier 3/4 cost unit, or gets a some type of combination that's able to break through just the pure itemization, as Chun Chun Maru does win out that last round. And Blitzcrank is acid. I see it all the time for some reason, and I hate it because it pulls a tank in most of the time.
It's bad actually. It's not what you want. The tanks are going to run towards the Brahmana Leona, but if your Blitzcrank just pulls them back, then your Shaco gets stuck on them. It's so anti-synergy.
Well, and it causes your just to clarify it a little bit, because of the way the ultimate works, it takes attention from your units onto the tank. Which is exactly the opposite of what you want. So, we're gonna get a target dummy here, but we're still gonna pull everyone over to the Zillion. So if we were on a carry unit, like if your Shaco was on Seraphine, for example, not anymore.
Yep. Should actually just sell this Blitz and get a replacement one. Unfortunately, the Shaco was not in a really great spot there. Didn't get to take out the backliners, and now Chun Chun Maru is going to be on 1 more life. Even with Shaco 3, it would feel real bad to go 7th with Shaco 3.
Oh, it would be absolutely devastating to go 7th with Shaco 3. Also, devastation on tap for a couple of our players right now, because 6 of them are at 21 HP or lower. So they're going to start dropping like flies at this point. And we still have Minax with the Tom Kench, with perfect itemization, with loaded dice, and can still get stronger. It's going to take, I think, a tier 3 Urgot, for example, to break through.
Pve going to be getting an Arcanist emblem. This Ziggs is just support Ziggs right here. Banshee's Shroud. Hey, Tom Kench. A little bit late for it at that point. It's Thomas.
Yeah.
Compliment Sarah as mercenaries. Sarah and Thomas.
All right, so we are going to start changing things out. We're going to go ahead and pivot. We have 1 round to get a little bit stronger after this pivot. It was initiated kind of late, so let's see if it's going to end up working out. We're, I think, going to be able to get all our items on. Yes, Shroud is almost dropped it, actually.
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Wait,
that's maybe that's what it was for?
I mean, there's no way you meant to GA the Yuumi. That's just... Oh. That, I think... I don't know if this fight would have been a victory, but definitely would have killed more units. And that could result in extra placements. Are they even going to lose right
actually, now? Oh, man, I think this is it.
Oh, no.
I think this is it.
Pve. Okay,
no,
3
one
HP.
unit, 3 HP Camelot, Banana and Pajama. Both players starting really strong on this particular lobby, getting 6th and 7th. It really goes to show the tempo of these things can change at any time, as we're gonna keep getting our legendary units, but it kind of just feels rough right now, especially since we have to move our GA over. We have to reset some things. Look at this though.
What is that high roll? Holy, gets a replacement Leona and everything. All of a sudden, that's gonna be.
I take it back.
A Victor too. Never punished. Actually, that's what we just learned.
Victor 2 can win a lobby, and the positioning for the Shaco is good for this Victor. We just got to get to that ultimate. Katarina is just Katarina 1. Oh, all of the ults miss the Victor. We actually still have a Shroud. This has to go through literally everyone on the team and does absolutely nothing the first time. Is the second one going to be better? Shaco actually pretty low right now. The Shiv doing a lot of really good work. Is this going to be a Victor W?
Yeah,
it sure looks like it.
Has to be.
There it is. As Chun Chun Maru says boo-hoo and falls 4th.
Yiggles out as well, actually. A second game where Yiggles is bottom forward. Unlikely to make it to the next stage of competition. Pve, top 3. Just this is level 8 as well, where they've rolled like 3 victors in like 3 rolls.
Wow.
Disgusting.
Wow. You know, sometimes it's skill, sometimes it's luck. That was a lot of luck on that one. As
like that Fort Myers song.
Yep, not going to be like the most amazing item. It's really not a good item for this comp.
No, it'll have a little bit of value on Fiora.
Oh yeah, there is a Fiora there for.
Yeah, I mean, for how long though, right? Like she's not really doing anything. But
another innovator comp.
Looking good. Hey, what do you know? More innovators
from the same guy, and Yuki running it 2 out of 2. Is going to get a 2 out of 2 top 4 because of it.
Rageblade. Oh, okay. Interesting. I was going to say it's probably going to go on the Heimer, but is not going in the Heimer. Minax has enough items to probably carry and tank for 2 separate boards total, but has to make them work with 1 board. That's a lot of items. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 completed items. Maybe more. I don't even know. Lost count.
I know, right? I can barely count to 9.
Kyun can't count to 9.
Yeah. At least we have that, everybody. You know, and I would love to know when an 11 cash out merch streak is. As Anyuki is going to fall. Pve as well. We get second because of the... Pve actually got destroyed.
Yeah.
But as you said, on round 3-3, Minax was going to win this, and we did everything correct, right? It was kind of colored by numbers at that point, but sometimes numbers can be hard, right? We sometimes we want to try to get too creative and we push our lead a little bit too much, and unfortunately that can take us down, but not the case for Minax. We take the dub here, and it looks like Dog Guy had a pretty good game.
Oh yeah, Dog Guy having a fantastic game. It's still 71 HP. The other lobby is over and done with because the acceleration happened, right? That Tom Kench farmed so much that they everyone got bullied. Dog Guy, maybe not so much bullying the rest of the lobby as preserving HP very well. And another Urgot board. It might not even be Urgot 3 this time around. In fact, it's likely to not be. But still, a Tahm Kench to farm items. A Jinx going to be doing a lot of work here with 4 Twin Shot as well. Jinx actually did more damage than the Urgot there. People rag on Jinx a lot, saying that she's kind of a fake unit, the worst 5 cost. And I mean, I don't know, part of me agrees, but I think she's kind of the unsung hero sometimes a lot.
I actually think her initial ultimate slam, a lot of people underestimate how much damage that actually does. Any AoE damage in this game is really, really good, especially if you have something like Shiv to kind of loosen them up before you do use that ultimate. And we're going to be able to get out of the way too. We're going to not bring Yuumi with us, but Yuumi's going to get a pretty good ult off. And look, exactly what I'm saying here, right? That ultimate is absolutely enormous. We have 2 GAs on the field, and it's going to help us win another round. As Asa, who got 7th last time, that Urgot has the same itemization as the last lobby-winning Urgot, but unfortunately, one major difference, not tier 3.
Not tier 3, but maybe perfect items. Fernand's Last Whisper, certainly very, very good. And if you don't have any healing augment, then BT, fantastic pickup. There is a really strong challenger comp and a Malzahar 3, though. I don't think this is a free win for Dog Guy, but it still is looking pretty good. They have a lot of HP to work with while they find these upgrades like Jinx 2, Jace 2, level up to 9 as well. Definitely looking likely Dog Guy wins this lobby, but has to pull through here.
Pulling on through, we have our initiation. No items on that Lux. Would have been awesome if there were, but maybe enough damage has been done, maybe not. This ult from Jinx actually not as valuable as the last one, but this Urgot with the Bloodthirster just inching with that health. They got to get it through, but the ult does not last long enough, as Tahm Kench going to be spitting out some furballs.
Yep. Arcanist Taric, very, very strong, by the way. Heals up himself to pretty much full every time, and then somebody else to full. Prine does fall. It's just Asa and Dog Guy left Urgot versus these Arcanists with a Malzahar carry. He did win last round. Asa could bring this one back.
He truly can. All right, this is a 1v1. We're going to get into round 7. Dog Guy has lost the last round, so we know that they're vulnerable. We do have opportunities to get stronger. Jinx 2, Jace 2. That'll all be very, very nice, but unfortunately we don't have that quite yet. We also could even get items from Tahm Kench. It's just so crazy to think about the power level of this first place board versus the last one we saw. As we go over to Asa, who has just a free Victor just hanging out on the bench. We do put him in. Take out the Swain for it. This is Malzahar 3 as well with a Archangel. So talk about infinite scaling.
Yeah. Yuumi Redemption as well, I think, is pretty smart because she will survive for the longest amount of time probably in a fight. So she'll keep on spreading that redemption value to everybody. The TG did end up going to Orianna. She gets her ult off. Malzahar 3 going to be spreading that dot over to 2 separate units, burning them with Morellos as well. Yeah, going to be winning this fight by, oh my god, so many units actually. It's a 6-7-0 loss there.
Man, yeah, Dog Guy's comp did not look strong at all compared to what we just saw. Tier 2 Victor is stronger than almost everything that's on that board because it's still just Jace tier 1, right? Yeah. And we have frontline Orianna, but we have Trapclaw on it. So we might be moving that into the back line. Last Whisper's not that awesome, but that Malzahar had no problem spreading the news, as I like to say. When it comes to getting, especially with that Shojins, you got the Archangels, you get extra dot damage with the Morellos to stack on top of each other. Yep. It's good stuff.
Great stuff. But, okay, not going to be Banshee's clawing the Victor and the Lux instead. Some for the front line, some for the Taric and the Malzahar. I'm not sure if Dog Guy can win this fight, but, he's going to have some more time going to stage 7. Multiple lives left. Probably just going to use that time to go 9. Is not going to roll for Urgot 3, I wouldn't imagine. But yeah, the fight's going very similarly to last time. Dog Guy down to 15. Probably, or is just going to be 1 life guaranteed going to stage 7. Asa, though, could potentially have 2 lives, depending on how this next fight goes.
And based on how we're seeing these fights go, I expect Asa to run it back from that 7th place. That's what you want to see. Like, this is great for the warm-up portion of his week, right? Now that he knows he's capable of doing something like that, say we open with a 7th place at a bad time, over the weekend, we're probably going to be okay mentally because of it, because we've already proven that we can come back.
Yeah. Definitely, and that's a tough skill that not every single TFT player can say they do well, is mentally tough it out, come back from a rough placement to then have a, string of really good ones. Ace is really good. Playing poker for 10 years professionally will, I guess, do that to you, train your mental. Level 9 for Dog Guy. Finds a Jace too. And they find a Jinx too as well. That's the next upgrade that they need. Not finding it, however.
Zephyr should stay on the bench. We have a Thief's Gloves going, moderately good roll. We got defensive-oriented items.
Good,
and
actually,
it's up against AP comp, so we have a better front line for that too. Redemption's actually going to be really nice for things like the Victor and Lux as well. So things getting a little bit tighter here. We're going to go ahead and Zephyr, the Victor, the Shroud does hit us in the back line, but the Urgot is scot-free at the moment. Let's see where these ults go.
Yeah, enforce the Malzahar, so it's going to be a little bit before he really gets online, spreading all those dots out. The Mundo is significantly tankier. The D-Claw is going to be providing some decent damage as well. Urgot starting to ramp up. Has to get through the Taric now, and does. Nice CC, but it's still not enough. Dog Guy gets taken out as Asa runs it all the way back from 7th to 1st place here in game number 2.
It's over. I forget what they say in old school Iron Chef. Once time runs out, but Asa, coming from 7th place, like you said, we got to see two people do totally separate things, right? We saw Yiggles, we saw Asa. They had the same challenge. They both finished 7th, and they had to redo their fortunes for the next game, and only one of them did. And we just saw Asa do just that. Yiggles playing a little bit like old school Yiggles, right? Maybe if we don't have a good start, we end up finishing a little poorly. So we need a first place if we have any shot at making it into the top 8. But as of right now, Asa's looking pretty good.
Asa is looking very strong. It's really nice, again, just being able to run it back there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the scores as we discuss the placements, because we watched that lobby for a while. I forgot we even started out on lobby B, right? I feel like almost the whole story there on lobby A. It's like, oh yeah, we got to see the whole top 4. But Asa did win that lobby. Dog Guy 2nd, Prine 3rd, and Draco was 4th. Lobby B, though, as we saw, of course, to recap, Minax, that 3-3, Tom Kench. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty
Tom
lobby
Kench
winning.
2 by 4-1.
Yeah, disgusting. Illegal.
Should be. That is, it's like a everything pizza. Right? We called it a Costco, right?
Yeah.
Still tastes really good. Maybe visually not that appealing, but still feeling good. As we go over to the overall standings, as in Yuki feeling, like I said before, pretty good. But look at the middle. There's actually some separation here. So Chun Chun Maru, Camelot, and Banana in Pajama need a top 2 potentially in order to sneak into the top 8. Because look at Asa. Because of that first, it's kind of made the bubble a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and this is the fun part of the day, Boop. We get to decide which lobby we want to go to. We have, lobby B, the story of Yiggles, having to make a comeback. Probably needs a first, and even still might not be enough. But do you have any lobbies you're leaning towards?
I say we go back to Asa, yeah?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Definitely down for it. Lobby A. There we go. That's, I think, one of the closer lobbies as well, because I think there's 3 players tied with 14 points in that lobby. Spetham, Draco, and Prime. Dog Guy and Asa have 12 points, so definitely a lot of movement can happen. If you have one poor placement, everyone else places above you, that's just going to be it. It's
Spetham dropped from 1st to 4th in one lobby, right, at the end of the day. So again, anything can happen. This is the most important lobby of the initial preliminary rounds. It's the 3rd and final one. There is a 3-point difference where the cutoff is 12 and 9 points. So everyone with 9 points needs to finish at least 3 spots ahead of the people who are already ahead of them. For example, Asa needs to finish in 8th, and someone like Camelot needs to finish in 6th, and they're going to tie and potentially make it through. So as we, there's a lot of different math that can help some of these players, but everyone from Yiggles up, I think, still potentially can make it through, but it's going to be tough for someone like Yiggles to do it.
Definitely. Math is hard. I'm going to avoid doing math because bad things happen when I try to do that, as was referenced on my college, GPA. But, that's fine. We're going to get through it. Everything's going to be fine. But I think we've seen some great action already. We've seen a huge trend. Again, innovators. Urgot's, I think, been actually more popular than I expected. It's still working out very well to get you those top fours, especially when you get that specific build that we've seen multiple times, the Last Whisper, Runans, and Bloodthirster, you know, fairly solid. Even does well versus those AP matchups because the Bloodthirster shield and a little bit of the MR that the Cloak does provide as well.
Oh, we got a really great start. Tier on TF, you'd love to see that.
Oh yeah.
If you're if you're gonna get a tier to start, this is one of the best units to do it on. Oh, we can. Great. This is great.
Shiv, beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of people love getting that Shiv.
Ezreal though.
Yeah, now see you later, Twisted Fate. But we can put that tier onto somebody else here in a second.
Yeah, you have to be fickle if you play TFT. You can't just fall in love with the unit, Boop. You gotta say goodbye as soon as something better in the shop pops up. It's like, oh, TF, I'm still ride or die, and I'll stay with you forever. Oh, Ezreal. Ooh, innovators. Ah, just kidding. See ya, TF.
I'm a serial monogamist, okay? All right, it's hard for me. We get another Ezreal actually as we go over to our Augment Sony frontline dual rule, and Celestial Blessing. I love that.
Dual Rual.
Dual Rual. Phony frontline, right?
Yep, yeah. Phony frontline. I guess Celestial is okay, but Phony frontline probably the most value. Dual rule a couple patches ago would have been fantastic when there was all those Swain and Talons running amok along the convergence, but for no longer.
Celestial Blessing 1 is the augment that I'm not like, I just trust that it's working.
Yeah, you don't even feel it, right? It's just,
yeah, I just like trust that it's there. And I'm sure it's won me a round or two, right, in the past. Maybe even a lobby or two, but I just trust the game when it comes to Celestial Blessing 1. But yeah, let's see what we're going to finish out here, if we're going to get straight gold or if we're going to get some units to help us out here. We're not going to get any more components, but we do get
Yordles.
Misfortune and some Yordles.
Yordles are nice. Misfortune in case Spythem rolled into Mercs, but they don't. A pair of Trundles as well. I think it's just going to be sell Misfortune, level up, play Yordles while playing the Darius, and still with that, maybe even start to win streak. Doesn't have to be the case though, and it looks like Spythem is trending away from that. I don't know, there still could be a win streak opportunity here for Spythem. Not going to try for it though.
All right. We're going to go ahead and potentially put an item on one of our units to see if we're going to get wiped anyway.
Yeah,
right?
No point this round.
Yeah, there is no point, especially with the itemization already going on the other side. Rageblade on the Warwick. We haven't seen like very much Warwick openings in general. Can be a pretty alright opening for a Yone comp or even some Chemtech for Urgot, but haven't really seen it just yet.
No, we haven't. A couple of players, few players actually getting 4-0'd. Dog Guy, Prine, and Spy them all down at 92 HP, but Dog Guy running some mercenaries, getting Mercenary Heart in there, even has another one. So with GP, okay, if Dog Guy is first pick on Carousel and there's a GP there, that's a 5 Merc opener.
One can hope, right? If
I hope
you just gotta hope the GP is there. Our comp might actually be enough to win against a 3-unit comp. Maybe not with a Sunfire cape, so
yeah,
interesting. We still might be able to take this. We might win.
Oh yeah, that Quinn disarm.
Oh,
good loss.
Or is this like the perfect loss?
I think
it's
so.
Perfect. It's actually perfect. So every good loss is always going to start like that, where I could win this, right? You're about 50 HP away from winning it, but that was a perfect loss instead.
90 HP. Couple more rounds until we see if Dog Guy is going to win the lobby or not. I guess it's a bit preemptive. It's not quite that drastic, right? I'm exaggerating, but 5 Merc at 2-5 is certainly absolutely insane. Good opener already. Pair of Talons. Ooh, okay, a high roll there. Not Merc roll. Good stuff.
Man, Mercenaries is so stressful, but we're in a situation where Dog Guy might feel like he's got to run a 1st or 8th style in order to make it into the top 8. Dog 8, I don't think needs to necessarily take that many risks. Needs a good result, though.
Needs a good result for sure. Needs to finish above Asa. Still 2 points behind Spetham, Draco, and Prine. Just in that lobby, right? Let alone being beat by Yunyuki, Pop 11, Minax, and lobby B. So That's a 4-0 loss. Probably gonna be first pick on the carousel here. Moment of truth.
That's what we wanted.
Yep, is guaranteed gonna be first pick.
What are we gonna be going for here? On the carousel, we're looking for the GP.
Oh, no GP.
Unfortunately, no GP. Samira with the large rod. We're gonna get the crit glove.
Yeah, not bad. We just
we might roll into it.
That is true. Could roll into it. We just now know that Mort hates nice things and didn't manually input the code to put the GP on the carousel.
Oh, there's some indie games that actually have like the ability where like the dev can come in and like mess with the players. That's like a thing.
Yeah.
I think there's like a horror game out there that does that. I'm blanking on the name, but basically like if someone's doing really well, the game dev can go in and kind of mess with you. It's like almost like a reward that makes you lose. I don't know. It's like screw you for being good.
Yeah.
But AZL now
some added fun, some added challenge.
Yeah, exactly. You're obviously I got to get in here, you know?
Yeah.
Can't win the Squid Game that easily. AZL, 10 gold, 3 win streak, same exact comp as we saw before. Literally no changes.
Yeah, can't quite justify running the 4 Bruiser right now because you have to take out Camille or Warwick, right? But Warwick's the item holder, so just going to level 6 for that one. Still a strong comp. And yeah, it's going to be a free win, obviously, going up against Dog Guy. Dog Guy, 30 gold. Running 2 Alawies. Only Mercs, nothing else. GP waiting room. Even still, if they rolled into GP the next few rounds, it would be very, very strong. Asa, as well as AZL, both on a win streak here. They might run into each other before the Krugs. Have to prep for that. Probably positioned against each other.
Yeah. The players who have been leading the lobbies have actually not been finishing very high. I mean, we had a 6th and 7th place, I think, with Bananas and Pajamas and Camelot in the last lobby that we saw when they had 100 HP through the same portion of the game. As we're starting to find a little bit of a package now. We have an innovator opening now that we have an innovator on the board because you've got the clockwork. So we have the challengers. It's going to help that out as well. We have some CC now too, which is really nice with the Zillion.
Up against Pryan, who's running all assassins right now and has underdogs. It's immediately getting value because they only have 4 units, right? So interesting stuff. I think underdogs was one of the augments that did get nerfed a little bit. I believe it went from 10% to 9% for that healing regen. Took down 1 unit, but not much. AZL though, 5 streak. Asa, 5 streak.
We're going to go into the PvE round with 2 players on that win streak. That's going to give both of them a pretty great advantage over the rest of the lobby. They can maybe suffocate the bottom 6 players because of that, because they're going to get extra gold for 2 rounds in a row. So Sigs now, who had a great start, an unfortunate second game, and so we need to make sure that we finish in that top 4, maybe even top 2 for us, and it looks like Mercenaries is going to be the way to go. We have a GP here.
Yeah, his GP here, taking him out of the pool. Sigs definitely needs a first, I would say, this game to have any chance. Even still, it might not be enough. We'll see. Grabbing a rod. Morello's could be there, and actually Quinn's not a bad carrier of Morello's. She does spread that Morello's and her ulti, which is AoE.
I love me some AoE damage on the convergence, and it's few and far between, so when you're able to get it, things like that Lissandra really have a lot of value when it comes to Morello's.
Yep.
Can be tough to get that tag onto as many people as someone like Lissandra can do. We do have a Morello's potential here on this board. We also have a Socialite heart that came from Socialite emblem that came from the Tome of Warmogs on the Quinn.
Oh yeah, I forgot Tome is a silver tier now. It's not gold anymore. I'm so used to it being gold.
Yeah, and so everyone's going to have a little bit more flexibility in terms of making some wacky compositions. Socialite's always really nice. It's free stats just because you have it.
Yep. And Echo having some nice items right now between Sunfire and Chalice just to support Echo. He gets one more cast off. No, not gonna be enough. Not gonna hit in time. Ziggs does cash out the very small loss streak though. See what he grabs from that. I got down at 49 HP already. It's just gonna be gold. Hey, gold's still nice.
We are running Mercs. down there, so we're probably feeling okay about that. We saw a couple rounds, so it's not like you do want to lose by 1 unit every single round as Mercs, but doing it once or twice is still better than not at all, right? So Dog Guy has saved at least a little bit of HP. I mean, we could be at under 30, under 40 at this point in time if we didn't save those 2 rounds by losing by 1 unit. I think this is a clear mind board. No.
Underdogs.
Underdogs.
Yeah. Primus Underdogs board, and Brian looked like they rolled like 20 gold there, almost like into the abyss. They didn't really pick up anything. Not really wanting to flex out of this comp, just wanting to go assassins even with these items. This is kind of like that old Katarina reroll kind of build here. Rich get richer, Academy Crest or Metabolic. There's an argument for a couple of these, but Metabolic, HP, really good. Still rolling. Does find a talent upgrade, but still nothing else.
Low-key carousel buff on the Metabolic. So if you literally don't care what item you're getting, just wait until someone else is up and you know what item they're getting and just take it from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another way to use the actual speed of the unit to actually get you some advantage elsewhere.
Don't go too fast and grief yourself, right?
Exactly. Exactly. You know how many times I've tried to go in between the units because you can.
Oh yeah.
Right, and then you just grab the wrong item because I apparently don't even have good mouse accuracy on TFT.
Hey, it's not like we're playing an FPS game here, right? It's excusable.
Even when I play FPS games, it is just not a good time to be my teammate sometimes.
I feel that.
I can get to them mentally.
That is true.
I'm a good meat shield.
That's the Boop special, the mental warfare.
Yeah, exactly. And that way you don't have to be good at anything. You just have to be mean. That's awful advice. That is awful advice. I take it back. There's a little bit of truth to that, which is sad, huh?
I don't know. Maybe.
All right, Eternal Winter. So valuable. I love that item. Prime, though, is going to take the L there, not running the mercenaries. Dog Guy cashed out.
See what that cash out's going to bring in just a little bit. 36 HP. It's around where you want to cash out at. Leaves you some time to still transition. You can afford one more loss and not have it be the end of the world. Chest is not the biggest, but still fine. Looks like they had some challengers on the board. Yeah, Fiora, Yone. Only 4 components until now, though. Very low on that end.
Looks like... Oh, we haven't cashed out yet. Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Now's the cash out, yeah. A lot of gold so far. A couple of components. Don't want that. Shogath or Vex. Some more gold. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be an Urgot pivot. We're going to have Last Whisper. IE potential as well. Could even just slam something like a Shiv. Wouldn't be bad. You can put it onto a Kaisa later. Dog Guy is still running mercenaries, however.
Oh, we're going to go the IE Last Whisper direction. No Bloodthirster. We don't want to wait, apparently. We only have 36 HP, so we got to get to winning. Like once you cash out, you got to win. And it's not going to happen again here. Because oh man, that's going to be even lower HP. This is rough. 26 HP before Wolves. We still haven't even gotten to our last augment. Merc is one of our augments, so that's already a blank augment at the end of the game. This is pretty rough so far.
Yeah, that was a little slow, I think, on that round from Dog Guys. 3 twin shots, 3 bruisers. Could have just ran a gangplank over an Alawi. Still had 3 Merkin. Play for a twin shot, but it's actually now going to play the Mundo instead. Shiv, I think, is still a very nice slam. Wasn't running the Urgot either in the first 2 rows. So he wasn't benefiting from Knife's Edge. There was just a lot more that needed to happen in the last round. And because it didn't happen, that could be the difference between Dog Guy's placements and multiple placements as well. Because that wasn't like the best loss either. I think it was like to 4 units or something.
We do slam the Shiv, I think 1 round too late. At this point, you might even want to put it on the Urgot just to win out a round or two, and maybe remake it a little bit later. But hey, we have enough power. We're here, and we're here to stay, hopefully, at 26 HP. AZL had quite the weak composition, so Dog Guy runs into a pretty good and friendly matchup there.
Definitely good matchup. Starting off on this streak. I guess they get one extra little cash out, right? It's a silver lining. Double Oriana shop. Not really great for the comp, though. Just gets an extra 5 gold. Got a jackpot, actually, on winning.
All right, these items are going to be popping out of those wolves. There's not a ton on the board right now, so we're going to get almost 50% of our items, potentially. Probably. On this round. We're going to get 3 orbs. Yeah, we could low roll, but we're going to get 3 orbs. If they're all blue, is the question. Yeah. Yep, at least 3. We got 5 orbs and 5 components there.
Yeah, because I think the most lower you can have is you have 4 you have 8 components after the wolves, and going into the stage 4 carousel. That doesn't feel good. So nice that they get a whole bunch of those there. Moving on over to Draco, who has solid HP number. Not as high as Asa, though. Still at 100 in this lobby. Talk about a comeback performance. Asa really turning up the heat here in this lobby.
Josh Groban might be hanging out with Asa right now. Get it? Because he's raising him up.
You know, the reference is lost on me, unfortunately. I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Josh Groban is?
Who's Josh Groban?
Oh my goodness, not only one of the greatest voices of our generation, kind of a funny guy as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, does musicals and stuff like that. Just look out, You Raise Me Up, and you raise me up. You know that guy?
Oh, okay, I got you. I'm just uncultured. Yeah. I'm sorry, I just don't recognize things. My brain is filled with video game knowledge, and it just like blocks at everything else. It's a problem, honestly.
I actually think you're more cultured than I am.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think the opposite, but that's interesting.
You know
Talk about that later.
Yeah, we can. We have time. All right, Asa at 100 HP. Oh, it's because we are already at 5 Innovator. We probably have been here for a while. Eternal Winter, Thornmail, Gargoyle Stoneplate. That's best in slot for like any tank in the game. The Gargoyle Stoneplate should be enough for most AP compositions. We usually don't have it on the Singed. We have one on the bench to swap this out once we do get a tankier unit, maybe frontline Jace.
Yep. Asa going level 8 at 4-1, protects the streak, still 30 gold, 5 innovators, 100 HP. Yep, this story checks out. Even backlining the Singed because he knows he's going to be going up against the assassins, and the talent is stuck on this Singed. Gets taken out to about half, but unfortunately, even for all of Ace's efforts, it's not enough. But good potential there. Good scouting, good recognition. Did as best as he can in that situation.
Gotta love it. 87 HP. At this point, attrition has given us a very high possibility at getting top 4. We're already in the top 8, so if we top 4, we're probably going to be fine, depending on the order of the rest of the lobbyists. But we can definitely depend on top 4, most likely bringing us to the finals. But I don't know if you saw, but Six has a talent 3.
Yeah, that is on pace, I would say, for a talent 3 if you're rerolling at level 6. Definitely don't want to really pick it up much later than this. Up against Dog Guy, as the Urgot 2 has Mundo 2 with Thieves Gloves, and a Jinx was scrapped into a Morello's.
Okay, Eternal Winter is still doing wonders, but not quite anymore. Man, GA on Urgot is so frustrating. Like, when it works, it feels like the most broken thing in the entire game. But when you res and you don't have your ult ready, it feels like it's useless, right? You get, like, literally one auto attack off. But Portable Forge really showing up. I remember when we first saw that Portable Forge was turning into a gold augment, I was like, yeah, it sure is. Yep. Right? And we're going to be seeing a lot of it. It is the most popular augment in all of TFT right now. So these items are just so strong, and they have such lasting power, especially if you get it in this first in that first augment, right? This Eternal Winter is going to be valuable throughout the entirety of the game. Not all Orin augments are like that, but the good ones are.
Good ones are, especially you get a collector early, start farming some gold, things like that. Anima Visage is a popular one. Another Urgot too, actually. So many Urgots today, way more than expected. Kind of crazy. But of course, the Urgots are going to farm this board from Asa right now. 4 unit loss. Yeah, Asa went from 100 HP all the way to 62 in just a few rounds, and he's going to not be in first place anymore. does get still last pick on the carousel. There is a
He looks
Jace
worried.
there. Probably won't get it though.
Yeah, he actually looks a little worried. I am
Yeah, scratching his
moderately,
head.
yeah, I'm moderately concerned about that. I actually have noticed a little bit that we get really into the game, right? But just like any type of performance, anything special, say like a singer is singing something special for themselves, if you get too into the song, you can lose it. You lose the plot a little bit. So
Yeah.
hopefully Asa isn't too wrapped in their head right now, because I mean we went from 100 HP to 62 in 3 rounds.
I think Asa's a good player at judging when they need to roll, when they need to spike, when they have a strong board. I think these are kind of like calculated losses. He leveled to 8 to try to maybe potentially carry this streak forward, but I think was not banking on it. Tom Kench is going to go in though. Gunblade's here, so this is a kind of a big Tom Kench priority, building the Gunblade for him, replacing the Singed, and more items for that Tom Kench.
And so if we were worried about falling behind, Tom Kench is how we completely stop that, right? Because Tom Kench, what does Tom Kench give us is resources, and resources give us victories. And just one Eternal Winter on this Taric has given us at least 2 ultimates so far. Here is the second one. Oh, doesn't get much. It looks like there were a Morello tag on there, but still, it's still not nothing. Right, we get an extra maybe auto attack from it. We had a little bit of a hard time here on Ace's board. We do get some gold, but no items.
No items, but unfortunate. Gold, sure, you pay for at least the cost that you fed him with. Went over to Prine. Prine's still rerolling 1 Katarina away. Can't afford to sell it though for the Echo, so has to lock for this Echo. That's going to be basically minus another 2 gold because you're not refreshing your shop. This is a rough situation for Brian. If they don't win this round, I think it's going to be a little bit doomed. And is definitely not winning this round. Again, Urgot 2 is running amok.
Yeah, and this is the 3rd different itemization that we've seen. We have the IE Last Whisper GA version on the board too. We saw Bloodthirster Runeins, and now we've got Ionic Spark, Giant Slayer Runeins, and it just seems like an Urgot friendly lobby so far, as man locking at level 6 at round 4-7 to get an Echo 2.
Yucky.
Yep, that feels dirty.
Maybe because of the metabolic accelerator, and if they get lucky and roll into the Katarina into the next round. This isn't perfect item Katarina. Frozen Heart is okay on Assassins, right? We talked about that earlier, but definitely not the best. Enough gold to get to 10. But this is the moment of truth, Boop. Does Prine hit Katarina 3? If yes, maybe can stabilize. If no, I'm worried.
I'm already worried. I'm not gonna lie.
And nowhere to be seen.
Hey, we got items though.
Yeah. I guess that rod goes in the Blitzcrank because Scrap.
Yep. Sig's doing some snacking. I don't know why I do that. I just it's like when there's a pet or when someone's eating, I'm like, everyone needs to
drawn
that
to
right
it
now. Yeah, exactly. 44 HP in the middle of the lobby. The Urgots seem to be doing quite well so far. Dog Guy, who's running Mercs, on fire now. That itemization on the Echo is interesting. You really want tank items on him, but we do have tier 3 units here, and that's going to be the Talon that's been around for quite a bit. The Talon now going to have to get to the Urgot, then walk back to the Jinx. Is there enough HP? No, because of the GA and the ult lining up in perfect harmony, Khroen.
Yep, GA Urgot, very strong. One of the units that can still continue shooting when they're in their GA form. Similar to, Kaisa, similar to Yone with his ghost, things like that. Very strong. Draco drops to 2 HP. Prine drops to 9. Oh, actually healed up a little bit, actually. Okay. Because the metabolic. Can't forget about that. Metabolic is good. Dog Guy, level 9. 7 win streak. Such a good spot.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this is the most insane team comp either, but Chemtech Jinx, a lot of people say that's the way that you make her unit, right? Give her some survivability. I love Shiv on her just in general. You're going to get a lot of tags on that Shiv. The Shiv might end up doing just as much damage as the AD does, but this ultimate from the Jinx is going to hit hard. But you already saw how good blue buff is on Lux in that situation. Got 2 ults already, and here we go. Look. I mean, all that HP is pretty much gone. Oh my goodness, Jinx is pretty good, huh?
Yep, doubled Urgot's damage there. I don't want to see anybody saying Jinx is bad anymore. Obviously, she's very good because the 2 rounds that we saw her pop off. No, I mean, she's still like not the best, right? But she's not as bad as people give her, credit for.
Or lack of credit.
Or lack of credit, yeah, exactly.
And this is a smorgasbord, as I like to call it. We haven't had one of those in a while, huh? Just a whole lot of everything, more so than the rest of the lobby. To get 5 Chemtech and like a whole other synergy along with it is quite nice. 5 Chemtech and 4 Bruiser. We got an extra scrap just because we got Enforcers, the Twin Shots, the Scholars are nice cherry on top to get us to our first ultimates a little bit sooner.
Yeah, the Trundle's just in there because he's a Bruiser, right? It would like to be like Tom Kench, ideally. Just haven't rolled into that yet, I suppose. You don't even need 4 Bruiser with this comp, but it is nice. The GA value is not quite enough. Lissandra with Morelos got the tag. He burned away slowly. Jinx, though. I think she's going to make the difference. Yeah.
Yep.
Again, doubling damage of Urgot. That Jinx 1 is doing so much work.
Yeah. Chemtech spat definitely helps. Jinx 1, though, doing a lot more work than you had anticipated. Yeah, it's only round 5-4, but still a lot of people undervaluing that unit. It's also one of those units that seems that for some people she's a Masters player, for other people she's a Bronze player, right? Depending on where she lands in the back line, because there are times where she really does just yeet herself into like a Tristana.
I know,
right? And she just dies because of it. But these last couple rounds have been really good ult so far, and the extra AP along with it has actually been a little bit of a difference maker when it comes to these scrap rolls. We saw how good that initial blast off was when it came to the Rabadon Shiv combo.
Very, very good. And well, now going on to the Trundle as just an item carrier, I would imagine. Prime did go out, by the way. Assassins, Katarina reroll, not really cutting it. Unfortunate there at the end of the day. But you just kind of hit too late. Rolling down all that gold into the Abyss at level 6, I think pretty much spelled Prime's doom, unless they like super high rolled from there on out, but not the case. As you do look at Dog Guy versus Spetham, and Spetham has a perfect item Lux. Absolutely tearing away this comp, but it's still not enough. Jinx, again.
Rabadons! I mean, that's a lot of damage coming in from that original. I remember maybe like 4 or 5 packages ago, where it was like, yeah, that ult's not bad, everyone. Right? We might want to like consider maybe a little bit of AP for that initial ultimate. But Spetham's actually lost 2 in a row. This is a comp that absolutely dominated the lobbies last week. But with the enchanters that seem to be popping up a little bit more often, really tanky front lines, the Lux having a little bit of a hard time, especially if the Socialite Hex is in the front line, right? We want to put the Lux in there. But we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. But at least we've got the blue buff, so we have the ultimates at our disposal. It's all about the targeting now.
Frontline Lux, not really going to be what you want to do, but the positioning is not it. Lux is going to not shoot any of the carries first things first. It doesn't even kill the Lux in the first hit. Meanwhile, Yone is just going to town on all of this board. ACL lives. Spetham drops to 15 now. 3 losses in a row. I mean, maybe it's just unfortunate, right? You pick the side that's going to be good versus 2 out of the 3 matchups. And if you happen to low roll that 1 out of 3, it happens. And Asa actually goes out in 6th here. He was at 100 HP for so long this game. What happened?
I said it, right? I was a little worried.
Oh,
right?
No.
He was a little worried, and it seemed like we got a little bit in our head. We probably don't make it back next week because of this. Same thing with Prine, who is in the top 8. But for people, I don't know what's going on with the other lobby, but if Yiggles wins it, for example, this is how you sneak into that top 8 and potentially get into that top 4 for that money. Spetham is looking pretty good right now. If we get a top 4 here, we're probably going to top 8 the rest of the crew. Gargoyle Stoneplate does make this dragon last a little while longer. But
yeah, a lot of resistances.
A lot of resistances with the Gargoyle Stoneplate, but we get to finish off a tank line, which is going to be really, really nice for this Lux.
Hey, gets to level up and finally make use out of that mutant emblem. Tried to roll for a Kaisa, still trying to roll for a Kaisa maybe, or just for more upgrades, but Caston will do the trick. Don't really need that to be Mundo. Target Dummy is a little bit stronger now as well.
two people on fire, 35 and 26 HP respectively. This is going to be a crazy 1v1 at the end of the game probably. And all of a sudden, Sunny D has like Tom Kench too. So all of these comps pretty strong. If Lux hits a carry, it's over, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen, as for the second time in a row, just barely misses on the first kill. But I feel like that's a little bit of a balance thing that's here on purpose.
Actually misses
Whiffs.
that one. What the?
Completely whiffs the third ult. I have not seen that in a very long time. Gets rid of the Kaisa. This looks like a Lux win.
Oh, if she gets this
Oh
kill,
no! It's going to be the Shiv that helps take the Lux down. Man, what happened to that third ult?
Died.
Oh, that was ugly.
PayPal. Lux, check the PayPal. I don't know. That was very, very ugly of an ult there. Unfortunate, because if that ult hit, that would have been a round win. Wasn't the case though. Nas by them could bot for this game. With perfect item Lux. You know, perfect items on the Vex frontline, 6 Arcanist, that's about as good as you can get. Siegs, though. This Talon, even though Talon's been nerfed, Imperial's been nerfed, really make this one work, and this is impressive. I think the augments lined up for it. This unconventional, right? Challenger Talon is not what you usually see, i.e. though, Death Cap not what you usually see, but still good. But ended up making it work to a top 4 here.
Yeah, so the AP ratios on Talon's bleed are kind of insane. So the Rabadons is totally fine here. That bleed that you're seeing is because of that Talon, and we also are going to get
wow, it's gonna win
very
this.
very close. I think we get this. Spetham gets eliminated.
What?
Sigs wins it out. Oh, 1 unit separates Dog Guy and Spetham, and our Merc player, who got a pretty good cash out, gets 4th.
Them losing 5 rounds in a row, all of a sudden went from almost guaranteed top 4 to a bottom 4. That's crazy. Wouldn't expect that fight to go in that exact direction. Dog Guy does take 4th though, and we have our top 3. Big Sunny D again and Urgot on their way into the top 3. But now with Imperials, as well as some challengers. Actually, more Academy than Challenger look like they're on that board. Actually, 6 Academy.
6 Academy. When was the last time you saw that?
Towards the beginning of the set when we were just going academies, but not anymore usually. I guess the Academy emblem, Academy double Titans Fiora, that's scary when it stacks up to full.
Yeah, love it. You know, and the thing about the Fiora too is that it's 25 extra damage, but it's also some defense. So you're going to be able to last a little bit longer, get to some of those other ultimates. Plus, you're scaling along with the rest of the academies. Like how, you know, that's why you eat your vegetables, friends.
So you could be like this Fiora.
Yep.
AZL on a win streak now. Siegs down to 3 HP, tying AZL's HP. What do we go for here? There's a Zephyr. That's super, super nice at this point in the game. Yeah, AZL grabs it immediately. Siegs goes for the Warmogs. Just wants some more time. Let this board can get it done here. So the Talon will be able to tag everyone with the bleed. The Warmogs. Oh, maybe not even the Warmogs. Maybe this is actually just a Galio that wants to go in. Yes, it is. That's going to be 3 Socialite.
That's a big deal for this Talon, especially since you've got the Warmogs and your 2 biggest tanks too. You might be able to fit in. I think we were thinking about a potential Yuumi, but this comp is looking okay. We lost the last time around, but that's the thing about things like Talon, right? You're going to be kind of coin flippy anyway when it comes to this comp, but you have to make sure the Talon doesn't get bursted right away. This is pretty good positioning to start things off. Talon should hit the Kog'Maw, no problem, and then the Challenger... Oh, no, but
it's okay.
Greg. But we do get the Challenger buff, so we get that attack speed to help stack the bleed, which helps with the Rabadons, and hopefully we can make something happen. But I think we got eaten.
Got eaten. He pops out and dies. Unfortunately, didn't walk towards that. Urgot and Sion's not going to be able to get the job done here. Big Sunny D did lose, drops to 8 HP, but it looks like Sieg's going to be the one out in 3rd here. Yeah. Minus 16. Unfortunate. Our top 2, Academy Challengers versus Urgot.
Academy Challengers. This is crazy. This hasn't happened. This is a flashback. This should be in black and white.
Yeah, I know. It's so old. Ugh.
Yeah. Double Titans. None of this is technically best in slot either, right? I mean, the Academy Spat Fiora was one of the best comps literally for the first like 2 patches. Yeah. With Yone was a little bit of an issue, but we haven't really seen this comp like at all ever since then. But it seems like when no one else is running it, you can kind of itemize the way that you want. and you get your burn, you get some damage on a Fiora, and you're kind of ready to go.
Yeah, maybe it's a... Oh, I was gonna say maybe it's a good thing that the Urgot wasn't Zephyr, and yes, it looks like it is. The challengers are so quick to take out these boards, and with that, is Yell gonna take out Big Sunny D and win lobby number 3? A comp that is a blast from the past, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess, because it's still super, super strong there on that board.
Yeah, on that board in particular, but that was a 1v1 that ended with a good amount of tankiness on one side and a Fiora on the other. And that Fiora had that true damage and was ready to go with it. But that's it for our first preliminary lobbies. We have some eliminations to get to, Khroen.
That is true. Some scores being calculated on the back end. We'll have it here soon. But only top 8 can move forward into the next stage of competition, where we will have the points being doubled in 2 more games to decide who's going to win some money and who's going to come back for it next week on PvE. Actually, it'll be totally different. I'm excited for it. It's a good time. But I think we know that from... Actually, I don't know if we know anything conclusive from that last lobby.
Yeah.
I think the players who... I was going to say, like, oh, yeah, no, we don't. We'd actually have no idea because it was all so close in that lobby. Gotta make sure all these scores are correct.
Yep, in order to break the top 8, our 9-point friends needed to finish 3 spots ahead of everyone with 12 points. There were about 3 people eligible to do that. We know that Prine probably fell out. Asa probably fell out, but
Yeah.
Asa definitely, and Prine, both getting eliminated in 7th and 6th place respectively, might have done enough to shoot themselves in the foot to potentially not make it back into these second lobbies. And I know a couple of these lobbies went back and forth in terms of results, a lot of flipping going on. So a kind of constant top 4 through 3 lobbies here might have been the ticket.
Definitely is. I know, maybe a little spoilers. I'm taking a look, and Yiggles did get first place in that last game, it looks like. So is it enough? I don't know. It could be an absolute comeback story, or it could be some tiebreakers that we lose. But okay, we get a chance to see these scores just from that last lobby. So
and top 8 Bronco got well, that's actually really good for Yiggles. That particular setup in that lobby might have been perfect. This next slide is going to be intense.
It is going to be.
I am at the edge of my seat,
please. Oh boy. What's it gonna be? She
made it!
There we go. Yoon Yuki, obviously, making it through, and then Spedthem, Minax, Dog Guy, Banana in Pajama, AZL, Yiggles, and Prine make their way into the top 8. Win the tiebreaker over Papa Lev, also with 16 points, though, and Asa and Draco also falling just short with 15.
Who would have thought that that was possible? We said that it would be hard, and the only way that would be happening if Yiggles won that lobby and got a little bit of help, and we got exactly the help that we needed. After I saw that Banana and Bronco were 2nd and 3rd, I was like, wait a second.
This is doable.
This could really happen. And, fate has it so Yiggles comes back into the finals, but now that points are doubled, it's still anyone's game, right? A first place is going to get you 20 points going into the next section of Fight Night.
Definitely. This is where Yiggles struggled last week coming into game number 4. But, I mean, maybe got their bad games out of the way early and it's going to pop off in the next 2. I don't know. We don't know, but we'll see. We're going to a quick break, but don't go nowhere. We'll be back with more Fight Night Rising just after this. Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome back to Fight Night Rising. 3 games down, 2 more to go. Boop, we have narrowed the competition down to just 8 players, and we saw who those were just a moment ago. We got Yunyuki, Spedham, Minax, Dog Guy, Banana in Pajama, your probably favorite I would say in this lobby, AZL, Yiggles, and Prime. But what do you make of these players and how they played so far?
All right, so we got a couple surprising factors here. I think everyone knows about the Eagles storyline at this point, so we can move on. But we had a couple people drop from the top 8 that, most importantly, Asa. So hopefully Asa got bad games out of the way today, so when we get into the mid-set finale, literally right tomorrow?
Yeah,
right
tomorrow.
You know, that we are going to be able to get
sleep.
through it really really easily. So in one more sleep, Ace is going to get there, but hopefully we get some sleep. I know the day before competitions I have a hard time sleeping at any point, but with this top 8, Yiggles on the hot streak. We had someone pop in and say that they straight up smurfed the lobby. We've had a lot of innovator players, but all of those innovator players are now all in one lobby, so I'm excited to see what happens there too.
That is true, because not all the innovator boards can all hit, right? It's the same with any comp. Innovators, excuse me, is the same, right? There's only so many Seraphines, only so many Orianas that you can hit, Jannas to round out that composition and have it scale into the late game as it wants to, as it wants to do. Even sometimes players will go for Heimer 3 with that route, and, there can't be more than, I guess 2 players maximum that can do that, but probably logistically only 1 player is going to make that happen. But as the story of today shows, I think the story of the rise of Urgot is here, but that's not it, right? We can still make things happen with other compositions, right? The challengers, the Yone Academy even was very, very strong there in that game, and assassins, made their way into the top 4 with that talent, right? So hey, talent's still on the table.
I think the assassins just, ever since some of those Shaco nerfs, just can't quite take the W on an entire lobby. There just seems to be too much damage that appears at the end of the game, whether it's burst damage from Lux, quick damage from the challengers, for example, or any of the above. And even if you just slam a Thornmail, sometimes that's enough to block an assassin player from a lobby win.
Yeah, oftentimes it is.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that's all you need, and you're going to be okay putting 2 Jane Vest into that investment if the assassin player is already winning. And unfortunately, again, you can't hide the fact that you're playing assassins until later to try to counter no brambles in the lobby, but it can be a little risky. So speaking of innovators, Yuki, I believe, ran innovators at least twice in the last lobbies. Won one of them with Heimerdinger and might be doing it again here with a Ezreal start.
Ezreal with a bow opener. It's kind of like that TF opener earlier. Like, both are very good. You're likely to keep that unit all the way through. A bit more likely, I suppose, for this Ezreal than the TF. But we'll see. See the scores of Yunyuki on the top of the screen there. 1, 2, and 4 has gotten progressively, worse scoring throughout the day, but still all in top 4s. We can't really, can't fault that, right? It just happens. As long as you're top 4, you top 4 are still doing good. And you carry over the point totals into these 2 games, right? That's what I think is the major thing about why Yunyuki is probably, or is the favorite to win out this tournament.
And this point total is enough of a buffer for a potential 8th place as well to keep us in the running.
Yeah.
Because we're so far ahead of 2nd place, not necessarily so far ahead. We're 3 places ahead of 2nd place, abouts. So we can have a little bit of a rough game and still compete. As we get to our first augment, underdogs, like you said, recently nerfed. That's why a number like 9% would appear. And we got Phony Frontline as well. I probably pick Phony Frontline here. Underdogs is good too, especially if you plan on having a little bit of a easier or a rougher early game. So you can either lose by a little bit more. Underdogs is kind of nice on both ends of the equation. But I like Phony Frontline better here for sure.
Phony Frontline is nice. It's very generic. We've seen multiple players pick it throughout the day, even though it got nerfed a few patches ago. Still solid. More solid than locking yourself into Imperials, and just probably the best option overall here. But Camille too, nice upgrade, still has potential of upgrading even more between the Twisted Fate and the Darius. Who the last item's going to be? It is tier, so probably a Shiv Slam. Generally, players, especially this late into a set, are very willing to just slam the items that are generally seen as good. Shiv definitely qualifying for one of those items.
I remember when Shiv was the worst item in the game, said a
Yeah.
lot of people, and then nothing changed about it, and then all of a sudden they buffed it 5%, and then all of a sudden it's still here even after a reversion, right? Or I think they actually might have buffed it 10% at one
Yeah,
point.
I think they did do a sizable buff for it, but then still nobody ran it for a little bit, but then they like kept tweaking it and it's like, oh, this is really good because of these specific comps. Like coming into the set, right? Shiv is just like a good item.
Yes, and might continue to be as we move into set 6.5. But we've got Hand of Justice. That's an interesting slam on the Echo. That's not really an item you see very often. That is the ultimate conciliatory item, which is you just have these for some reason because you were waiting for a sword, a bow, or a long rod for your crit glove, right?
Yeah.
And you were waiting for a large rod or something of the like for your tier, and these two just ended up being the last ones on your bench.
Yeah, it looks like just built different, just wants to have as much power on the board right now. Because no units obviously were, synergizing with each other. Slam the Hodge. It's fine, got the first round win. Dog Guy, I think, probably needs to try to keep that up for at least the rest of the stage, and then it would be worth the Hodge Slam. But if not, might be a little bit rough to pivot that into a strong carry.
Okay, this is a very interesting final lobby since there's one separation and everyone else super close. So the results of this first particular lobby are going to tell a really big story going into our last one of the night. Ziggs, man.
Yep.
I just can't handle it sometimes. Sometimes it's just so off that it's like I could probably sense it with my eyes closed through my feet. A better ultimate than Ziggs is doing.
The tremors in the ground as the bomb hits. It's like, nope, that didn't hit anything. I can tell.
Yeah, exactly. You think he'd learn his lesson? What if like there was a mechanic that we could do where he becomes more accurate as the round goes on?
That would be interesting. It's like the targeting of a unit. It like targets randomly and then targets towards the largest cluster and then targets specific units like based off their attack speed or something like that.
That's actually
and it changes over the course of a round. Yeah, I think we got some good ideas.
I feel like that's doable.
Yeah,
like I feel like that's a doable thing. Yeah, that's
game
awesome.
designers, Boof. Hey.
I know, right? Hire us, right? We're right here, right now. Khroen will be there tomorrow.
True.
If you need us to, circle back with the design philosophy.
Yeah. Give you some notes. I'll present them tomorrow. That'd be great.
Exactly. Well, we'll make a slideshow. We'll make a PowerPoint. It's cool. We'll do a pitch deck. But we have another Warwick potential opener.
Hey.
We can actually slam the Shiv on the Warwick too, if you want to win by a unit or two more. But the Talon isn't really breaking through this Camille as quickly as I think it wants to. This isn't over.
Say it might be a loss now, and it could, depending how many autos this Talon actually gets off. Yeah, Warwick cannot heal through all of this. Shiv might have won that round. Would have been a lot closer, that's for sure. But I guess we have the option of making whatever items and not being forced to run that Shiv. Could be a Rage Blade, could be a Rune Ends, could be a whole bunch of things. Bow is so flexible. Gonna be just 3 cost glove. That's by them picks up.
Most likely turning into a Last Whisper. We're going to keep the tier on the bench. Spetham has liked running Lux in the past. Was running Lux in previous sets too, from what I remember. We're doing quite well with it. So I wonder if we're kind of fighting with Lux based on our 5th place earlier. Today, that was rough. We had an ultimate from Lux that literally hit nothing. One of the biggest ultimates in the game hit nothing. And so we might be fighting with our Lux, but with the bow, we're definitely moving away from that AP, the bow, and the crit glove. Or we could potentially, there was a tier there, put the Shiv on and wait for our other units. But we could technically do it with the tier start.
Yeah, definitely. Tier bow, Shiv, glove could go, Jewel Gauntlet IE, things like that. Definitely not committed to anything yet. Yiggles going for some innovators, going for his Shiv Slam. This is a very strong Yiggles opener. Ezreal 2 with a Shiv. Heimerdinger already being found has a tier. You can probably reasonably give him blue buff this game as well as some more AP items, and Heimer is a wonderful carry, probably the best one they can use for this innovator board. Yiggles probably gonna have a good game this game, I would imagine, from this opener.
Oh, that Ziggs hit nothing but net on that one. Oh no, Ezreal, that was close.
So close there.
Phony frontline, good augment, huh? Sometimes you saw it almost swing the entire round.
Yeah.
I like Shiv on Ezreal, especially since the ultimate, the Mystic Shot makes attack speed increase, so he inherently scales with that item, which is really, really nice.
That's true.
And helps everyone else as well. So really good slam. If you're gonna slam a Shiv on someone, that's one of top 2 units to potentially do it in the early game, especially with this innovator comp, because that Shiv actually maintains value for things like the Seraphine a little later.
100%. Jace is also a nice unit that you can just pivot an Ezreal into, take that imps off of him, go Jace, maybe have a replacement Ezreal if you need to, if you're going for 7 innovators. I don't think we've seen 7 innovators quite yet today, though. It has been nerfed a little bit, but that's just some like dragon like crit percentage that it gives, I think was the thing nerfed, so not a huge deal. 7 innovators, very, very good. Just hard to get, though, because you either need an augment or an emblem to be able to get that online, and the Jace, so not the easiest thing.
Not the easiest thing for sure. I hope we get to see some dragons out there, but right now we're going to be looking at built different. And this is where you're going to see some units doubled up. I still think 2 tier 2 units of the same unit really good on the built different.
Oh, yeah.
You can also put things like Scion in here. When it comes to build different combinations, there's a lot of options that you can go for. But eventually, as the game goes longer, and as you would normally want to add more units to the table, built different becomes harder and harder to go by. And especially at tier 1, eventually you're just going to bail on it on some of these units. Like, you might just put a 5-cost unit with Socialite, or, put it in there like a Yuumi, or you might put a Socialite in there just to help everyone else out.
Yeah, built different's such a weird trait, or a weird augment, excuse me, because you don't want to run any traits, but that's not going to be the case for the whole game. I think at some point you do want to pivot out of built different and run a real composition. The trade-off is that, yeah, you hope you win streak throughout the whole early game. That guy hasn't done that, did lose round 2 too, and only is on a 3 streak right now. So his lost value that you usually get out of built different is slamming every single item to try to repair that and try to now go on a streak to get money. But we're still under 30 gold at this point. Probably not even going to win this round. I mean, it'll be close depending what this Tristana can get done.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, yeah.
Oh!
It got close. I wasn't sure, but it's going to win the round. Oh man, Ziggs.
Oh man, that's like I remember back in my little league days. There was always this kid who we knew. There's a nice end to the story, I promise.
Okay.
Always struck out, right? Always struck out, and we were always so mad when the game, because there'd be 2 outs and this kid would go on, and we'd be so mad. And then one day, he just started hitting the ball like every time. Yeah, that he was on plate, and that was kind of what we saw with Ziggs there. It was insane because it was playoffs. It was like one of the most miraculous moments. I still remember it. Like, even as a child, seeing another child blossom like that, right, was like really cool to see. And so Ziggs, good on ya. We're improving from the free throw line. Let's see how long we can keep it.
There we go. Probably not that long right now, because I mean those ults weren't bad. It's just there's a Warwick 2 running you down. And it's pretty hard to shoot a free throw when there's a big dog in your face.
Not very free.
Not very free.
Not very free.
Dogs
like to go for the neck and the face.
Yeah.
Right? So we know that there's definitely some arms going around.
And Ziggs is like, he's a Yordle. He's not too tall, right? It just can't really get above it. Doesn't. I think Ziggs' jump shot's probably not quite there.
He's
either.
Definitely a point guard. Yeah, definitely a point guard. He's the drill sergeant, is what the commentators would say. Yeah. He's got a good head for the game. Right, he's a good conductor for the boys on the floor.
Exactly. Augment choices from the Portable Forge. Manazane going to be the choice there, and yeah, it's probably the best thing that was offered. Manazane Jhin, not great.
Just might be holding on to it for now. You never know. But it is for Sniper.
Yeah.
And this is going to be pretty big damage. The Deathblade, though, gets stronger at tier 2. But this way you get locked in the ultimate, which is kind of cool. But we'll see, because the animation for Jin's ult, we've seen so many people lose during it. So I've not seen this before, actually, so we'll see what happens.
Maybe this is the tech. I'm thinking more about it. I'm like, is this even bad? It gives 40 starting mana to Jhin. He gets his ult pretty quickly. The Rage Blade, not great, right? Deathblade, honestly, also not great. But he's going to shoot his 4 shots, right? Get his mana back.
Yeah, and
One more
here
shot.
they are again.
Honestly, not terrible. I don't
He's
know if
scaling
it's
with the attack
good.
speed too, right?
Yeah.
He's scaling more attack damage every time he attacks. He's not going to get actual scaling attack speed, but his damage increases with the Rage Blade.
I don't know if I want to call it good, but it's not bad. I'll land on that one. 58 HP for Prine and Minax, both picking first in this carousel.
I absolutely maybe think it's good.
Yeah, exactly. That's I can't not talk like that. It's I don't know.
It's okay.
Maybe in a few years I'll go out of the habit.
Learn. That's why we work together well, man. I think we learn from each other because I need to be more like that. To be honest with you,
we're just like both ends of the extreme, but you know we need to go both like middle.
Exactly,
a
like
more.
You know, it's okay. The middle is okay. That's what I have to tell myself sometimes. Is like the middle is fine. There's nothing wrong with vanilla. Anyway, it might feel simple, but it's not that bad.
True.
We have stacked items on the Talon. AP is nice on the Talon, so can be a very good holder of these items. It's going to help things like the Shaco because the actual attack modifier for the ultimate, I believe, is AP. I remember seeing a Archangel Shaco scale into the late game once. That was dumb. One round off of me. I was mad about it. But, you know, it just took too much time and Shaco would die too early for it to really get anything out of it. But very similar to something like the Talon with the Rabadons. Same kind of vibe.
This is really fortunate for Minax. Maybe not this round, but certainly it'll be good in subsequent rounds. But did pick a sword with a Shaco on the carousel and immediately rolled into 2 Shacos. So is just playing the Shaco 2 right now. Could continue playing it throughout the course of this whole game. Not sure it's going to be the case, but versus most boards, that Shaco 2 should have a solid amount of value. You know, take down a bunch of units. Just not the case there.
Leaving innovators open, or at least some of them.
Sure, a couple Ezreals.
We have some scholars up there as well. New Vi is sick.
Oh,
on the PvE,
Vi,
by the way. Yeah, super cool unit.
Cool. Played carry Vi actually for a game. It was something.
Yeah. It looks fun. Performance though.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, a big birthday party with like 8 moon, you know, bounce houses and a bunch of confetti, but there are like 2 people there.
Yeah. Looks cool. In actuality, it's like,
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like in actuality, but
like I thought Talon... it would be great, but
exactly. This Talon's doing some work.
Oh yeah.
With the Chalice and the Locket. I mean, any type of bleed is really, really nice. These units are getting pretty low, but when Lissandra ult, and that's going to be it as Minax does change course and wins out that round.
Yeah, doing that thing where you break your streak before neutrals. Not the best value there, but hey, you gotta stop losing sometime, right? Turn it around to a win streak. And I think with rolling into that Shaco 2 and the decision to pick it up, it's like, yeah, I want to start losing stop losing right now and turn it to a win streak. Yuki, good Kaisa items there. Has Ascension, has Metabolic, running Arcanists.
Yeah, so Metabolic pretty much means that we are going to get an opportunity at 5-cost units and potentially getting them tier 2'd. It definitely helps us in the late game. We got a lot of gold there in that golden orb. And we're actually potentially going to be able to use some of these units because of it.
Vex 3, all of a sudden, maybe on the table.
We could luck into it. There are 2 Yordles on the bench, too. Let's full commit Yordles. Let's do it. And the most important lobby of the night, let's do it.
Yeah, Yuki... Probably staying away from that one.
I would too. Even though peer pressure is fun sometimes, it's not always accurate.
Peer pressure is fun sometimes. I mean, yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna say no. Like, get your life together, man. You can do it. See, it can be great for you.
Yeah, true. The motivation you need.
Exactly.
I need some positive peer pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Some positive manipulation. Yeah, gotta love it. As this Warwick will inevitably turn into an Urgot, but right now it's doing all right. Ziggs smurfing a little bit with these free throws. Ascension happens a little too late. Yone's just enough. Shivs everywhere. Shivs on both sides here. The Ezreal is going to be going up against the Jhin 2 now with that mana mute.
Yeah.
Actually was out of the ultimate stance for a little longer than I thought would happen, but the Manazane is doing some work right now.
It definitely is. I'd be curious to see how far that Jhin can go, honestly, with that build. Maybe Manazane Blast Whisper IE would be, you know, best. The Rage Blade's not useless on him. It's definitely not the best item, but yeah, I mean, just curious to, you know, check it out when we do get to it next. Now being tier 2'd. For now, still Yoon Yuki. Saving up a lot of gold. Could have leveled to 8 here and rolled for, say, what, like a Victor, Kaisa. Maybe a Victor, I think, is Yoon Yuki's game plan. Going to wait until at least 4-5 to do that, though. And I think with Metabolic Accelerator, can do that. Like you were saying, definitely can play for these 5-cost units because of regaining that much HP over time.
Lots of CC going into the back line here. Malzahar only able to get off that second ultimate, but these are just tier 1 units. At this point on Yuki probably knows that they're losing a lot of HP. We are in first place, though. Is this going to be the second time in a row on the new fight night that the person coming in first place gets last in the first lobby? It cost Eagles a first place, an actual first place last time. So
she was so close to bringing it back, but couldn't do it. 1 point away.
Exactly. And looking at the rest of the top 4, AZL, 92 and on fire. Everyone else moderately close.
Guy. Very strong Trundle. Could turn into an Urgot, could turn into a Jin. I think that would be probably best case scenario with these items. Stick them in the corner. Although the Socialite Hex does lean more into a, you know, Fiora or a Yone. Something that can occupy the first row. Still rocking built different for most of these units, except the Trundle, because he does have Bruiser benefiting him.
So it's kind of like a net neutral.
Yeah.
This Jin is doing no damage.
Yeah, take it back. Jin sucks with that build. Nope.
Well, and the unfortunate, it's like the Rage Blade and the Mana Zane are countering each other, right?
Yeah.
Because every auto attack makes Jin stronger, but the Mana Zane makes so you auto attack less. So not really, a little oil and water, a little positive and negative forces there. But sometimes, you know, Jin can get a really great angle and is able to get you down anyway. And it seems like we kind of are alternating those wins and losses right now.
Yeah, I wish I had an analogy to like mix oil and water in situations that actually make sense. They're like, you know, it's not that bad. You actually kind of need
salad
it.
dressing.
But, oh, there you go. Perfect. I couldn't think of it, but you got my back. That's why we compliment each other, Boob.
Exactly. I eat a lot. That's I can put out a food metaphor for almost anything. Yeah. To be completely honest with you, and
that's a skill.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's also why quarantine was bad for me.
I can see that's fair.
Amongst other things, as we're moving over to Yiggles, who it has been running innovators over the last 2 weeks. Actually, played a good bit of Mercs as well over the last 3 weeks. But we have Lux 2 just kind of making an appearance.
Yeah, why
we
not?
have an extra one in the bench right now. But we could make what is that spat? That's Arcanist, right? So we could make an Arcanist spat to help with the Lux.
It's gonna be Morello's Death Cap instead, it looks like. She might just be an item carrier who might go more into more into the innovator route. We do find like a Seraphine, things like that. We're gonna stopwatch on the other side. Wait. We're gonna stopwatch happen and were there any clockwork units even?
There was a Camille.
Oh, that's yeah. Good work, Camille.
Oh man, it was just so funny because it's like such like a massive particle effect.
Yeah, and
sudden, like
one Camille is just
like one of the skinniest units in the game, right? It's just like I'm trying. These aren't bad. Share the spotlight. When it is up against a border like that, you don't like it.
Yeah.
Usually not a good choice anyway. But if it's like in the third row in the middle, that's actually really really nice to have if you're already running Socialite.
Exactly, which especially on this board, but yeah, I'm not going to take that one, especially with this comp. Arcane Crest or Celestial Blessing both could have value. Could pivot this into a more Arcanist direction, even if the items are not perfect. Celestial Blessing, probably going to be the pick, though.
It's the most general, and when you don't really know what to pick and Celestial Blessing's there, just pick Celestial Blessing.
There we go.
Right? It's just one of those things. You know, we spent all that time considering the rest, and we still went with the most generic one. Right? The other ones they look really cool, but on the inside, they're a little rotten.
Yeah.
But Celestial Blessing will never really do that. You're going to get a predictable board through it.
Gotta make sure to consider the options, though. It's like, oh, what if? Like, what merits do you have for actually picking the other things? Couldn't find any. all right, let's default back to a Celestial Blessing. And it's good, right? Because there's not any healing with any items. There's no Gunblades, no Hodges, no BTs, things like that. It happened.
It's just like it happened, and then you've got this Orianna doing
Yeah.
their best, just throwing those gears. It's it's still gonna work. We're gonna get to our ultimates, and Orianna's at least one of them. It's just like such an intense visual. And then you see like Zillion, who has one of the slowest auto attacks in all of Summoner's Rift, even on the normal game. It's interesting as this game really wants Lux to appear.
Yeah,
right now.
I know, this is crazy. There's so many Luxes being presented in the shop. It could have been 7 Lux right now, assuming they're not the same ones, but you can never quite bank on that one. You never know. 6 Ezreals, probably just gonna replace that Ezreal once we grab a Jace. We shall see, however. Hammer 2 upgrade is big. I feel like if you see Broken Stopwatch and there's not a Jhin, it just feels wrong.
Right? Because the whole point is so you can get an Orianna ult and Jhin ult off, right, together, because they work so well together. But we got some, now we've got some Arcanist spat potential. We've got Shojins, which is going to be going on to the Lux. Arcanist Heimerdinger, Arcanist Taric.
Yeah, both very, very good. And Bramble Vest to round out this comp on the Camille. Perfect.
This is looking good. Yiggles should be feeling pretty confident. Banana and Pajama, I haven't quite seen that comp yet, but has obviously stabilized through the round 4. But a lot of people do tend to lose HP through rounds 4-1 and 5-1, as it's kind of like another transition period. So people who are strong at 5-1 can fall off as the rest of the comps get locked in, because 2 things happen. You roll at 4-1 and you hit, and you can't roll at 5-1, and you have to try to keep winning through other means, or you roll at 4-1, you roll at 5-1, you roll elsewhere and you don't hit, and you continue falling off the leaderboard.
Very, very true there. Banana and Pajama kind of falling off as well. Minax actually goes 8th here in game number 4. A reminder that the point totals do carry over from the first 3 games. It is just that the point values that you earn in these 2 games are doubled. So we'll get 2 points for that 8th place, but yeah, definitely not a good start there. The point gap between 8th and 1st is 18. Very, very hard to come back from. But looking at AZL here, more Orianna, more Jhin, more Clockworks. No Broken Stopwatch here, but Ori too. She's going to be doing some work here at this build.
I love carry Orianna. Too inconsistent to run, I think, traditionally. I always think that she's always been good as a carry, but her ult can be a little rough. That one's really nice. And we're going to get to another one really quickly, especially with the GA.
Yep. She gets back, and
see,
her
that's
ball
why
goes into nowhere.
She went to the Zig school of free throwing.
Actually, Zig's like, "Hey, watch this," or he's like, "Ooh, I want to do that. Am I doing it
yeah,
right?"
that
Zig's
looks
like,
fun.
yes,
This
perfect.
This is different, right? I like to be different. Who likes the most popular thing on the menu? Let's be different.
Orianna definitely built a little bit different with that ult and not the trait. So.
Exactly.
Not a bad board, but it is a kind of hodgepodge mixture of a bunch of different things. 3 Chemtechs, but it's an Urgot with no items. Rocking a Jace in the back line kind of randomly. Ori carry, but usually you see Ori carry with Innovators, with Enchanters, with the kind of Janna, Orianna, Yuumi Joy package. Missing the Yuumi, though.
So we do have build difference. So they're getting an item's worth of defense and attack, or just attack right now. And so that's going to help the non-itemized units like the Urgot kind of compensate for that. But it's going to be a lot harder to win a lobby because of that.
Oh, so, yeah.
And we do get the Orianna ult right after the Clockwork, and we're going to knock Yiggles out here. Was that Yiggles? That looked like the Lux there. So
yeah,
Yiggles does lose out. This is a pretty close lobby. Not a ton of top end power. Very different than what we've seen in the previous 3 lobbies today.
Yeah, Yugi actually going out in 7th here. Dog Guy.
It's anyone's game.
Dog Guy played a very aggressive early game, but now is falling off. Prine falling off as well. Kind of close between 4th through 6th. Now we get to stage 5 carousels, completed items. That's a Jace with a Shroud. Yoni with Runans, some great items here for a lot of different comps.
And when you don't have to worry about getting components, you just get the item with the unit on carousel,
Makes
you're
it
saving
easy.
a good amount of gold, right? You're saving 4 gold, which can help you get interest if you're that Yone player, right? Or you're getting 4 gold, putting that onto something like an Urgot.
Very true. Looking at Prine. Prine's still rocking this Jhin. And I mean, I guess to be fair, won a couple of rounds at the beginning of stage 5. Just started falling off last round. Really needs to hit this Orianna too. I think that's going to be a huge upgrade. But not hitting it.
Oh,
Double Shroud can
no.
shroud the whole board. Gives time for the Jhin.
And we do have sniper buff
Yep.
because of the augment, which is really, really nice. We got our heart full of snipers. This is going to be a tough go, especially with the Lux being able to access the Jhin, but it's going to be Jhin versus Lux.
Broken stopwatch actually benefits.
There
Oh,
we go.
both players have it actually. Wow.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw that?
Not very
Ooh!
often, but Lux a bit better than Manazane Jhin.
Unfortunately.
Khroen, 14 HP. Can he kill another unit? Oh, it doesn't matter actually. Drops to 1 HP.
Ooh, that was a really, really close lobby. Tier 2 Janna is going to help with our enchanters and help us heal, but that is not the enchanter we wanted. We wanted the Orianna, and we still only have the Tier 1. There are Tier 2 Oriannas out there, so we're feeling the squeeze a little bit. This Manazane Jhin, I think 6th place still, I mean, pretty awesome for for this build, especially again because we've got the Manazane Rageblade issue. I mean, you literally put the Rage Blade on to stack up the Death Blade because it's raw damage, but too much mana is locking us out of it.
And the Yuumi attaches to the Janna, which is probably not exactly what Pride wanted. Going up against another Jhin and Ori on the other side there. Let's see, Manazane.
Really good first ultimate there is the second Manazane ult. We need at least one more. Hey, it's going to work out here, it looks like.
Yeah. Good enough.
Not very predictable, this build.
AZL had a decent amount of HP, now starting to lose it. Yiggles wins though, 40 HP, and 2 players now on 1. Dog Guy and Prine moving into the neutral round. Looks like Prine got a Runeans. We see Spedham is offered an Ionic. Hey, could just stick that on Leona, on Braum. Not bad. 6 Challenger build here, so not the Academy focused Yone build like we saw
that's
last
the problem,
game.
Apparently.
Yeah, right. Maybe it is. Maybe it is the problem. Who knows?
Apparently, we need to go the Academy direction, not necessarily the Chase Challenger direction. We're not quite at the Chase trait. Challenger 8 would be that. Anything over 6 is Chase. For some vocabulary lessons. Ionic's nice. At least you get value, right? There are some items that you can get that absolutely don't even work for you, like a spat item, for example. So at least we get something out of the Ionic as we start rolling down. Ooh, 3 more Fioras.
Okay. It always feels like a bit of a bait in this situation because you don't have that much gold, so you're probably just like throwing 12 gold away. And okay, yeah, so throwing 1 gold away ends up selling it. It's some other upgrades.
It's like, haha!
Yeah. Not that bad though. I do think that was one. This is a change that came through a long time ago, but I do like that you can sell the unit for nearly full price, only losing 1 gold there. It used to not be the case. You used to lose a lot more gold than that.
All right, we've got CC going both directions now. The Clockwork is finally getting that value. You want that first Orianna ult to go. Does get a good amount of damage on. This is an elimination round. It's Betham versus Prime, and it's the Jhin once again.
Jhin's too
That's
good.
going to take this by a lot of units.
Is it going to be top 4 for Prime? I'm not sure yet. Spedham goes out, but Dog Guy and Pride are still both 1 HP. Oh man, this Cho'Gath's very large.
Yeah, it should be able to win this. No problem with the true damage feast. Do we have enough time? Is 9 seconds enough time to get to the ultimate?
Doesn't even need
and
it.
it is. Doesn't even need all of it. As AZL, who had, in my opinion, maybe the strongest comp about 5 rounds ago, 5-6 rounds ago, now struggling to stay afloat. Dog Guy gets that Fiora 2. Prime still at 1 HP. 12, 18, and 21. Yuumi 2 locked in for giggles, and this is where these 1 unit differences will happen. The difference between the Yuumi 1 and the Yuumi 2 might bring giggles that victory. This is close. This is the closest lobby we've had all day.
Very close. We still have the not fantastic board here for AZL, but Hey, it's working out so far. 3 losses in a row, though? Could beat Dog Guy, I think. Have to see where these Orianna ults go. It's gonna be the difference maker. Ooh, not bad, but doesn't hit the Orianna, or excuse me, the Yone or the Fiora. And yeah, Fiora cleans up that back line, no problem.
Ooh, that's it. That's an elimination once again. Well, both of our 1 HP players survive again. Well, will we get a 1v1 with 2 1 HP players? No, we won't, as Pryan falls to 5th based off of that loss, and that's a big difference. 2 points originally, that was going to be a 4-point difference in the double total, and that's just going to keep you down. As we have our top 3, Dog Guy with that super rushed start. You know, this is exactly kind of what you want in that situation. As a top 4, and we get there, Banana in Pajama and Yiggles rounding out the top 2. I know Yiggles has a lot of fans, and I think a lot of us would love to see Yiggles finally take the dub here on Fight Night, and it'd be awesome to see on the new version as well.
Definitely. I think Yiggles has won 1 Fight Night before, but has kind of come so close, but yet so far. A lot of times after that, great positioning here for Yiggles is going to be sniping that Malzahar in the back line. Fucking stopwatch. Hey, some Orianna ultis coming through and Zillion ultis. That's about it. There we go. Lux finishes off the back line and now just has to work on this Cho'Gath and the rest of the frontline units here, and we'll be able to do so no problem. Yiggles takes out Banana in Pajama, and Dog Guy still survives with 1 HP. Potentially 1 more round left, Boop. Could Yiggles do it, or could Dog Guy make the 1 HP miracle comeback?
Yiggles seems like she has been unleashed on these lobbies so far. Remember, Yiggles had to win her last lobby in order to even make it here, and we're still doing the run back. And with Yuki finishing in 7th, this is literally anybody's game. And now we have a good item on the Orianna. Orianna 2 seems to be the mystery unit for a lot of our players so far, and we still have potential to get stronger. Seraphine 2, the Heimerdinger could use another item once we get there. We only have a Shiv on the Ezreal. We have a good front line, but we still can get stronger.
Let's see. Are we going to have the opportunity to get stronger? Are we going to lose this round, or are we just going to win here? Okay positioning on the Lux. It's not fantastic, though. Won't be hitting the Fiora or the Yone to start everything. Frozen Heart Jace certainly going to get a lot of work done. Uh-oh. Lux is in a bad spot here.
Lux is in a really bad spot, but that was a beautiful ultimate. A second one to follow up, and now it's all against the Fiora, and Yiggles dominates the late game on this lobby.
There we go. Back-to-back first places for Yiggles, but this time it counts as pretty much 2 first places as the point values are doubled. Yiggles certainly coming out on top of things after that one. What a comeback, right? Yiggles starting off real rough, narrowly didn't make it this portion of the day.
1 point. Oh, actually, tiebreak.
Yeah,
tiebreak made it.
Tiebreak made it. That's crazy. So, yeah, let's take a look at the scores from that game and see where it does bring us. And Yiggles, yes, is in first place. It is not by that wide of a margin, however. Dog Guy is 2 points behind at 34. Banana in Pajama, 5 points behind Yiggles with 31. AZL, just 2 points below that one with 29. It is still, honestly, anybody's game here.
Seriously, anybody can win. If you're within 20 points, you can technically still take over, right? Because remember, 8th place is just 2. 7th place will tie you if you're able to figure that out. But Minax can still top 4, no problem, right? With a good round here, and we were able to win a lobby. That was kind of a dumb. That was kind of a lobby. Minax got Tom Tench at round 3-3. That's why you see that 10 there. But you're seeing that the players who get better as the day goes on always seem to do better in these formats. So Yiggles definitely tracking that way. Dog Guy tracking that way. Other people not tracking that way, and Yuki and Spetham going the other direction. Yep.
Usually happens at the beginning of a patch as well. People will adjust and learn throughout the day of a tournament. That is, you know, on patch day, after patch day, or what have it. But Yiggles doing a fantastic job. Only player to have 2 first places overall this week. Yuki dropped a bit faster than we expected that game as well. Yuki was the only player to have top 4 in every game. But now nobody has top 4 in every single game today.
Yeah, absolutely nobody. And that's exactly why things are so close. You know, when as a player, you want to be that person that top 4s every way. But as a consumer, right? This is the type of score breakdown that we want to see, where everyone can have a shot. Yes, one person is in the lead, but I think by just a couple points is one placement that could determine the winner versus even getting fourth at this point in time. So again, because of how the rest of that lobby went, with Yuki finishing exactly where they finished, this is coming down to the last lobby.
It is wide open right now. It comes down to the last lobby that we will have here soon, but these point totals, they tell a story. And again, it's just anybody can still make it. The top 4 do come back for next week with competition. Top 4 also get paid out. And it's definitely reasonable that anybody, even without a first place, like even Minax at the bottom, could reach a top 4 placement and be invited back, right? The only players that can, I believe, return from the previous week again are Yiggles and Yuki, I think. Oh, Spedham, actually. Yeah, Spedham. Okay, so we have 3 out of the 4 actually that can make it.
Surprisingly, the one competing in the big tournament.
I know, Ace.
Right? And Yiggles actually beat Asa by 1 point, which was like really nice revenge. Right, in that situation.
That
because
is true.
Asa beat Yiggles for first place last week by 1 point and 1 position. So a little bit of karmic retribution, but at least we got some of our bad games out of the way for Asa going into the mid-set finale. Definitely want to calm those nerves down. There was definitely some... I call it getting itchy, right? There's that feeling in your shoulders that makes you really tight, and you're just like, ugh, things just aren't going well. It's kind of like that impending sense of doom. Is what I kind of describe it as, and I definitely saw that on Asa's face today. And once you let that win, it's over. Like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point.
It's almost like Asa was flashing back to last week, where it was that spot. I forget what game exactly it was, but it was a spot where like, oh yeah, how did I only get 4th from there? I don't even want to talk about that game. Like he said that during the interview. And it's the same thing, right? He had such a lead, 100 HP win streak for so long. I think it was until like 4-1, and somehow
he played Imperials.
Oh yeah, it was the Imperials last week, where he's like, yeah, there's no way I should have 4th placed that game. Like that should have been at least a top 2 every day of the week. He didn't even want to talk about it during the interview, right? But like he was like, okay, yeah, no, I should have done this. If I had 3 minutes to make that transition, sure, it would have happened. But I should have stuck with what I already had. He got like, I don't even want to say dizzy. It doesn't feel like dizzy, but I don't know. It's just. Sometimes players just
in a little bit of a loop.
Yeah, so I got stuck a little bit. Just when players have that, like, they want to make something happen, but they get stuck where they just can't do it, and they just get hyper fixated on it, and it just doesn't end up working out.
Yeah, that is a really good word, hyperfixation, right? I think we all kind of do it, but for us normals out there, for us, it's like, have you ever rolled and then kind of snapped back into reality and realized you weren't really rolling for anything?
Yeah, I was like, what am I rolling for? Like,
yeah, exactly. I've spent 30 gold. We saw a player do that today.
Yeah.
Prime. Roll into the abyss, and it happens. It's all about avoiding those. That's a simple mistake to make. I mean, we saw a Yumi get a GA earlier today, right? These are masters level players, and so these mistakes can happen to literally anybody. And the person who they happen to the least, the rest of today and tomorrow, you got to play clean. You got to play as clean as possible, and that's going to give you a potential top 4. And then that skill expression is going to get you that lobby win, in my opinion.
Skill expression, unless you super high roll like we saw Minax earlier with that Tom Kench at 3-3, you probably got to make a lot of decisions to express your skill in a TFT game.
I love expressing myself. What can I say? Oh, GP start.
Hey, that's the GP we needed a couple of games ago from Minax.
Yeah, she can play Mercs really well. We've seen it already. So we're definitely going to keep the GP for now. I wonder if we're going to run back Innovators. But our itemization started already not as good as last time. We were able to slam a Shiv on Ezreal, I think, on round 2-1.
Yeah. I wonder if Yiggles considers selling this GP to hold the Twisted Fate, but also hold the Innovators. But okay, with that can sell.
Yeah.
Something else doesn't need to. Oh, actually, does sell the GP. I was gonna say it could sell one of the other units. Doesn't do that though, as we do get our first augment choice, Pandora's. Cruiser or On Guard. Pandora's is going to be the general choice here, which would be good.
So, for the longest time, I did not see the period after component. So, I thought it was just gain a random component at the start of every round.
That
would
took
me like...
more than a prismatic augment.
And every time I picked it, I'd be like, this was at the early of the set, I'd be like, what's going on? They're not giving me
broken
items. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, read, Chris, there's a period there.
Yeah, punctuation is important.
Punctuation is part of set and structure and
Crazy.
language. So it is pretty important. But Spetham needing a couple other units right now. We got 3 bruisers. We could lock in another one if we get a Zach, for example, on the next round.
We'll see.
Could happen on an orb.
Oh,
We
there's
do
an
get
orb.
another
There's...
Chemtech. Oh, there's a
Vi.
bruiser.
Hey, that works.
Yep, that works too.
Not the one that we asked for, but the one that we got. Hey, Gangplank Quinn? Wait a minute. Hello. Mercenaries.
Hey guys.
How'd that happen?
Hey.
Crazy.
Yeah, so we're gonna start it on 2-1, best case scenario.
Yep. Perfect. But them
Yeah,
is
Spetham-
strong because they did level to 4. They have a like I'll consider Bruiser Heart as like a combat augment just because it does make your early game so much stronger. Getting that that extra synergy in kind of for free here. Didn't need it necessarily, but hey, can run this double Alawi. Hopefully with this positioning lose rounds, but still maybe kill a unit or 2. Maybe not though into this. Actually, yeah, we'll get one here.
We get 1.
Two.
Gangplank doesn't get the extra ult off, or he does get the ult off, but not to kill the unit.
Yeah,
So that
that's
extra
okay.
gold, unfortunately, not going to be there. Nice loss there. Could have been a lot worse. As we're going to continue running with the same crew. We ride or die right now with Mercs.
Definitely ride or die, and we'll have the ride at least for now. See if we die later. Win shot heart for Prime. This could be reroll Kog'Maw or like protector reroll. Wouldn't be bad from the spot. Already 10 gold. Have some good items for the Cassin and the Kog'Maw. That Rod wants to be a Rage Blade. Wouldn't be bad at all.
Don't know what the mutant is, and if it's like Adrenaline Rush or something, would be even better. So,
True.
yeah, because this Pog'Maw, not quite Pog, but could get
Not
there
yet.
with some itemization. One of the few users of that Rage Blade really well, but doesn't necessarily need it because of the twin shot buff. So yeah, we're gonna run it.
They're running it. Another Kog'Maw. 20
I like
gold.
Khroen. I like that they're able to take risks in these situations.
Yeah.
You know, Mana
Likes
Zane got us a
reroll.
top 4, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, maybe we just trust Khroen.
It likes reroll too. Not a lot of players I think can say that right now. Did try the reroll Assassins, a comp that is not meta. Took a risk, didn't work out, but hey, still made it to the top 8. This comp could very well be a top placement and could, you know, top 4 return back for next week. Risk could work out. If you take a risk a certain amount of times, you're bound to be right eventually, right?
Clock is right 2 times a day,
Exactly.
right? And that's going to be a round win, Spetham, with those Mercs. That's exactly what you want to see. That's the thing about TFT, right? Losing is sometimes a great thing. This is also one of the few games where winning will make you rage. But especially if you're running Mercs, you run into another Merc player and they help you cash out at round 2-4, and all of a sudden your whole game plan is over.
Yep. That would not be great. Definitely not. Ryan picking second. GP with the glove Spetham picks up, which is going to be a vest for Prime. Maybe getting that Bramble online already would be solid.
Yeah, we've seen Bramble win lobbies, right? With some other defensive
Yep.
itemization. And anytime you see an IE, Bramble's on the menu, right?
Yep. And what do we have here from you and Yuki? Oh, it's an IE.
Infinity Edge.
Just staple of just like, you know, League in general. Or it's TFT.
That's like an item that will just never leave.
Yeah.
They'll change it into something. They'll just change the art and make it cool. Give it a totally other effect, but keep it as Infinity Edge.
Yeah.
Look at this APM practice here.
I know.
Right, this
Look
is
at
some
that.
accurate practicing. If that was me, I would have sold one of those units.
True.
Going back and forth. Because there's like a thing where you can practice like being a sniper in an FPS, right?
Yeah.
And my hand just moves naturally too much. I'm just too shaky.
Shaky hands. Oh, I feel that's
Yeah.
what my friends actually meme him a little bit in some good-hearted fun. You know, shaky hands. Can't play FPS games, at least tactical FPS games. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I was pretty good at some other ones, but man, I can never. Sniping has always been very, very hard for me. I
Yeah.
can barely, take a panoramic picture. I'm so
Oh
shaky.
no. Oof.
Oh!
Wow.
Oh!
Okay.
Nothing but net. Take a mental picture, folks. You won't see that again.
Oof. Ziggs doing stuff.
Gotta love it. 1247 on Yuki. Seems like we're going to be running through with these assassins. We have Academy as well, just to power up our tier 1 units. That's a big reason why the Twitch does really well. A lot of people moving away from Twitch just in general. There's a moment in time where Twitch was kind of the one cost with featherweights, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't seen featherweights at all so far today.
True.
This makeshift armor has been moderately popular, but in terms of augment choices, it's been kind of par for the course outside of things like featherweights.
Yeah.
We've only seen one built different as well.
Featherweights is one of the augments that did get nerfed, so maybe if someone did see it, they kind of trended away from it because of that. You know, TFT players overreact to things. That is just what happens. But sometimes
no,
it's
get it?
No, we don't.
No way.
Sometimes it's justified, sometimes not. You know,
I've never overreacted in my life.
Exactly. But Twitch is still good with a kind of Twitch. Where's the comp you roll? Like Twitch, Singed, Ezreal, Camille, and that can kind of pop off honestly, a little bit. But,
we saw Singed within an Eternal Winter do some really good work earlier. Still might actually be a little bit of an undervalued initial tank item carrier, but it's not really the tanks that need item carriers, right? A lot of the ones that you're going to be using are, tier 2 or tier 3 a la Taric, right? So you don't necessarily need someone to hold on to those items. But, in the future, if you're feeling spicy, you can definitely make it happen as we get a Morello's, which is very nice.
Feeling spicy. Also, the reason why you see Minax buying out the shop there and not selling for gold is because of that hyper roll augment. Means if they have less than 10, they're going to make an extra 2 gold at the end of the round. So Minax is just saving that gold in the form of units on the bench. Could sell up to, or above 20 right here, so it doesn't really have to dump gold into XP, but chooses to do so regardless. And actually this might be a little bit of a mistake. If they could have just econned to 30, they'd be making more gold in the hyper roll, because it's not like they're pushing to level 6 or level 7 right now, and I don't really think they're going to utilize many of these units on the bench, so maybe losing out on a couple of gold.
Yeah, this is a fun augment to watch too, because there is some shenanigans that you can do. Like, say you have 12 gold, there's really no units that you want to do, just buy XP, right? And so you can get yourself down there and kind of inch your way up, so you don't necessarily fall super behind level wise.
Yep, gonna be buying out the whole shop there. Almost leaves the Lulu hanging. And
Lulu's appeared in the most TFT sets. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, I think has been in 5.
Oh, Fiora. Oh, interesting.
No, Fiora's been in 3. I think Ashe and
Really?
Who is the other one? Ashe has been Ashe and Yasuo maybe.
Maybe.
But
I don't
yeah,
know.
there's Ashe has been in the second most, tied with someone else. But
Okay.
yeah, it's Lulu who's been in the most sets.
Interesting.
For some TFT trivia.
Yeah, didn't know that, but that's interesting. Also, I didn't know that Prine whiffed this hard on the roll down. This is 0 gold, and it's not even close to a 3-star.
Not even close on any of the units.
The closest is Caitlyn, and that's one of the least important ones.
Yeah, that's for the sniper buff. Ooh, that was actually a nice snipe. That's a good thing about Caitlyn, at least in this situation, is you can pretty much guarantee at least 1 unit to get taken down. And that's, any amount of health at this point in this position from Prime is really nice to have. We don't even have mutants in at the moment.
Prine is doomed this game. There's, I don't think actually a way that Prine's going to come back from this, albeit a literal miracle.
All right, Bo.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate.
There's always next time on Fight Night, not next week, because I just
you gotta be realistic, right?
It's a bad spot. It's a bad spot. You gotta be realistic, I think, and only having 6 Caitlyn's, 5 Cassidans, 5 Garens. You're going to be hemorrhaging HP because your Kog'Maw has no items. Your Caston doesn't even have a second completed item. this Thieves' Gloves might as well not exist, right? Morello's Garen, what is that doing? It's just a rough spot.
Couldn't have asked for a worse roll on that Thieves Gloves too. You know, you could get a locket sometimes. You can get
Yeah.
other things that are going to help the rest of your squad. And what's unfortunate here is that it's an augment round, so you just stare at what you know is a comp that's going to struggle for the rest of this particular board. As Spetham, who has been running Merc, seems to have pivoted away from it. This actually might have been a little bit of a blessing in disguise. We're definitely going to be able to take down a unit or two here.
Yep.
Are we?
Kassadin gets another cast off, and yeah, okay, 1 goes down, 2 go down because the Caitlyn snipe, but still, not a great round. Khroen hemorrhaging HP even still. Unfortunate matchup to roll against Spetham, who went level 7 aggressively to try to cash out, and yeah, has cashed out at this point. A chance to look at that, hopefully, after this carousel. 36 HP? Not really cutting it. Takes a tier.
Archangels?
I'm dizzy.
Man, this is where like your face gets hot and like you start.
Was there a?
You know,
oh, there's for
sweating.
redemption, I guess, for the Kassadin. There was a. I mean, it has to
there
be,
was a
right?
belt.
So that yeah,
Yeah.
there was a belt.
Redemption's really nice against, you know, an AP kind of heavy lobby. Super good against things like Lissandra and Lux. A lot of people, if you haven't read the thing, the tome out of this and a lot of gold. I'm just gonna. We'll talk about that again a little later.
Ooh.
We got an item component that time. We're back to 50 gold.
Renan's, hey, it's looking like a nice Urgot build here.
Yep, it was looking Urgot-y a little earlier too, but now we have to really think about how we're going to use this tome. So the tome does function similarly as before, where you want to wait around so you can roll into your appropriate spat item.
Yeah. It did get changed a little bit, right? They like now make it a bit more clear like what things you're gonna roll into. If you only have like is it 0 to 4, you get like no emblems that are actually like tailored to what you want to run, but there's different breakpoints of them now. Gotta study up on that one. But,
yeah. So
yeah.
I think what's the term? It's like the choices are becoming more intelligent in terms of how they work.
They'll pops up something that like is actually like on your board, whether it's like an active trait or inactive trait. Yeah.
They do the same thing with scrap. So Ezreal can't throw Hextech anymore, for example. And it doesn't work. So I think it's kind of the same concept.
Yep. Spetham getting out of Mercs, puts in a Jhin. The Socialite Hex is fantastic for Urgot, not great for Jhin or Kog'Maw, but Spetham has so much gold that this is 100% going to be a level up at, I would say probably 4-2, but I guess it could be 4-1 as well. There's an argument for that.
Yugi running the IEJG Shaco, something you don't see every day.
Heck yeah, let's go. Shaco gonna be critting real hard here.
Everything be critting. Warmahog is a good item though. Look at that. The Vi taking out a good amount of extra damage there. Ooh, and an extra unit on one item.
Wow. Actually, Spetham losing that. I thought Spetham would win, but no. Shaco apparently a bit too good. GP upgrade, but nope. Not gonna do it. I think it has to be a 4-1 roll down, right? Like, you can't sacrifice any more HP.
If you go to 4-2, that is that is risking it for the biscuit, my friends. I mean, you're going to potentially have 14 HP, right? You might have one loss after that. And so you just got to, cash out when you can. And that's going to be at 4-1.
Yep. What items? Ooh, Nico's. That's great. Yeah, okay. Definitely 4-1. They were going 8 there. Yeah, they're going 8. They're rolling down.
This comp is going to struggle, I think, until... Oh, no, it's not. I thought that Shaco was still tier 1. We're at tier 2. IE just regularly on Shaco is good enough at this point in the game a lot of the time. Haven't really seen the JG-IE combo where that might end up going, or if that's going to stay on the Shaco.
Yeah, just look at the side there. Spetham hit Urgot 2 and Lissandra 2, it looked like. So Spetham did stabilize. That was the crucial roll down for them. And it probably worked out. I don't know what the rest of the board's looking like, but should be pretty good.
Oh, look at these items on Caitlyn. Deathblade, Shiv, Quicksilver.
Some Urgot items, potentially? Like
Wow,
everyone's
she's
just heading
hitting like
towards
a
Urgot.
truck. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's seeing some Urgot potential on a lot of it. We know Spetham already has the Urgot too, so things might be a little bit more complicated. As Yiggle's still at the top of the leaderboard at 90 HP.
There you go. Yiggles with a strong early game. Name a better duo. Maybe Prine and not hitting.
No, no.
What does that mean? That was too mean. Sorry.
That was up there with Tri-Fury 8.
Yeah, true. That's same energy.
We both get one. I mean, but it's true, right? I mean, unfortunately, Prine spent a lot of money. It didn't hit. That happens.
Yeah,
right?
It's not like it's like Prine played bad. You just don't hit, right? It's like
sometimes you put $100 on black and it hits double zeros, right? And everyone loses their money. And that's kind of like the experience that Prine had. We still potentially can bring it back. It is Assassins. I believe that is Prine. No, it's Mutants that he's trying to run.
Yeah, Protector or Kog'Maw reroll.
Yeah, the Pogma. That's right.
Yep.
This is a loss here for Unyuki.
Yeah, a lot of gold, though. Unyuki has saved up, and their HP is still okay. Prine does win. I think I just saw them hit Garen and Kassadin 3. So at least they have that. Okay, Kaisa percentages. Yeah, 1% just hit. Not really great items for her, though.
Yeah, you're going to hold, and so you can passively level. Just keep it over 50 gold and level 8.
There you go. Oops says hold. Not financial advice, though. But
hold. Hold. I've always wanted to be as a kid, one of those people that yelled at the New York Stock Exchange.
Really?
Just waving tickets around. That looked so much fun.
Oh my god, that's crazy. That's such a
My dad was a stockbroker. My dad was a stockbroker for a hot minute, so like it was always on, and it always looked like so much fun, so much adrenaline.
True.
It's like, I mean, so much money on that floor. Anyway, this is going to be another loss now for Unyuki. I think we knew that. Unyuki definitely knew that. We're over 50 gold. Look how close we are to level 8. It's an interesting place in terms of XP to be at 4 or 5, that close to level 8. The economy has been pretty good so far because of it. Yiggles loses, so the rest of the lobby is trying to pull everyone towards the middle, as Prine did end up getting 8th place. Unfortunate. That is an awful game to have.
Yeah, I mean, being eliminated on 4-3 before the stage 4 carousel, it's just no matter how you cut it, it's just a BG, right? You rolled down, hyper rolled. I mean, maybe you could even go back to that point and say it was a mistake, should have just rolled over 50 gold every turn. But bad rolls, they happen. You just chalk it up to a bad game, go next week.
So what's really interesting about this, Khroen, is that everyone dropped innovators all of a sudden. Did you notice that? Except Yiggles.
Yeah.
And Yiggles is going to, I guess, reap the rewards because of it. We actually have a couple other plays here, but don't get baited into bad decisions because you have a good unit, right?
Very true.
This is the right decision.
This is definitely, as soon as you hit the Scion 2, this is a great swap. Your carry potential is not really here with I'll say 1.5 item Ezreal. Scrap makes it 2, but RFC is not really great. Just a little bit of attack speed. He's not really going to be dealing that much damage. Wants to hit an actual damage dealer, right? Jhin, I think, being the best case scenario, especially with a Scion frontline. That's big value. Big synergy there.
Oh, big Blitzcrank hook. But he's going to be able to get going again. Interesting. What's going on with the targeting there? Okay, so
yeah, what's happening?
Super interesting how Scion got on that side of the.
Is she gonna win?
Oh
wow.
My goodness! Oh my goodness! That's what you call stealing around, folks.
Oh yeah.
Overtime. Usually you see overtime with tanks. You're like, uh-oh, but this time feeling a little bit better. If we didn't already have 3 items on Scion, the binary would probably be the choice. I like Portable Forge at any time.
Oh yeah.
Of any point in the game.
Great for this situation.
We already have 2 reforgers, so if we don't like the Orin item, we can just reforge it. There's a lot of opportunity.
There's so much. Salvage Bin, not great. Binary, not great. I guess the only redeeming factor about Salvage Bin is it gives a random completed item, and you can break that one down, so... Alright. I mean, don't even need to break it down. Hey, that's just kind of good for the Orianna. Might break down later because there is the Pandoras as well, so that Rod on the bench is rerolling every turn.
God.
We could just kind of
Pandora's.
handpick our items almost.
Yeah, when you break them apart too, I mean, that's
Yeah.
seriously where some of the most skill expression in the game can be, especially if you're doing that and playing mercs at the same time, can be pretty nuts. But it's Urgot on one side, Stand United, going to be where a lot of our power comes from. Blitzcrank pulls in the Janna. That's a nice initial pick. A lot more damage going onto the Scion than the last round, but it seems like this Scion should be fine.
Yep, Redemption ticks, Gargoyles, Bramble, perfect. I mean, it does its job and does it phenomenally. Yiggle's still 77 HP while going into Raptors, level 8, 40 gold, good board. This is perfect. The only thing that Yiggles needs is to roll into maybe a couple of Jins. And if she does that, and even make the decision to go level 9. Needs to roll down a bit on 8 first, though. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But...
and we get the 3-win streak going into the Pve round.
Yeah.
And that is really, really nice to have. So we're going to get free money going into it. We get an extra, gold because of it, and we can still get stronger. Yeah. That's the interesting thing. But the fact that this is the strongest board on the Convergence right now is moderately worrying for Yiggles, right? Basically, what Yiggles needs to do is find that Jace and kind of push the lead so people like Spetham can't come back, right? Because right now Spetham's on fire, and you want to push them away. You want to kick them out of the Convergence as quickly as possible.
That's a good point. Jace can very well be a fantastic carry there, and as well doesn't need to be a Jhin. There are other options. Dog Guy did end up pivoting over into an Urgot. I think we saw that in the last round as well. 40 HP. Still part of me wants to say it's Stimmy time, 40 HP, but no. Maybe one day again.
We'll get the Stimmy back one day. I think there's too much positive memories for the Stimmy for it to not come back. I mean, think about what this set was. It was almost all of the other sets in one set.
Yep.
Right? And we're even getting Chosens in set 6.5 with Debonaires.
I know.
Right? So it's kind of like the highlights of everything other than Galaxies.
I know. It feels like when you buy that Debonair VIP, it should come through as a tier 2 unit automatically, and it's like, wait, why is it only tier 1? Right?
We're trained, right? We're just trained. Creatures with habits, humans.
We're so dumb.
I know, right? Dog Guy gonna lose out. Man, Yiggles is looking pretty good right now. Especially since our who's in second place right now? We've got Yiggles in first place.
Oh, that's a good question. Yiggles and then Dog Guy is in second.
Okay, and this is not looking good for Dog Guy,
nope.
Right? Yiggles does lose, but we're still 40 HP different from Yiggles right now. So we have to stabilize, last longer than Yiggles, and finish ahead of our, which other people have a better opportunity for. I mean, third place is at 29 HP. Right, Yiggles is guaranteed a top 4 pretty much from this spot, but where is the final standing going to be?
Let's see. I mean, can Dog Guy hit the Urgot too? Oh, there's one, but no Nikos, no more gold to roll with. We're stuck. Also to note, who's in third place coming to this game is Banana in Pajama, and they're even worse off right now than Dog Guy. They only have 10 HP. So
stayed a little too long in their pajamas, right? Maybe a change of clothes, change of scenery could have gotten us that victory. But this is the first Akali that we've really seen with items so far.
True.
It's going to be the IEGA. I mean, we really haven't seen Akali do anything so far today, and it seems like it's going to be working out. I mean, Dog Guy's got a pretty weak comp right now. If that's an Urgot 1, the joke for me is that Urgot 1 throws toothpicks, Urgot 2 throws tree trunks. Right, and right now it's been a lot of toothpicks, and we're at 1 lost territory for Spetham, for Dog Guy. Banana and Pajama still in 1 lost territory, but in a better position right now because On Fire has a team comp to go with.
Yeah, very, very true. I feel like, actually hitting Urgot 2 comes online, so I don't know if with this build of Urgot it's necessarily tree trunks. Maybe it's like pointy sticks, right? It's not like full on trunk, but it'll still do some work.
Okay. Deathblade. Interesting. This is the 3rd game in a row I think Dog Guy slammed a Deathblade on somebody.
Deathblade, honestly, not a big fan of the item. It's okay, but when you compare things like Last Whisper IE, it just feels a lot better the vast majority of the time.
enabled by other items that don't
Yeah.
necessarily go well with it, because like Deathblade, i.e. Last Whisper, would be enormous, but not until you're like a tier 3 unit, right? So super interesting. This might be it. Yiggles might be able to take this down. No GA on the Urgot. The Zillion takes it down. That's it for Dog Guy. Now you just got to wait to see if you were able to sneak into the top 4, as AZL also falls. Spetham going to be taking him down. We have 3, oh my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4 people on Elimination Station.
Yeah.
AZL with 1 HP in a dream.
AZL came into this game in 4th, and now all of a sudden 1 HP. Still a dream. That dream might be cut short very quickly.
Could be a nightmare.
Could be a nightmare. I don't like those. Yuki grabbing a Zephyr, saying the obvious, I know.
Yeah, if you were like, I love those.
Yeah, nightmares
I
are
love
fantastic.
nightmares.
It's like I think it's like people like horror movies. Maybe they just like get nightmares, but they're like, oh, that was cool. Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe there's people that exist like that.
I love horror movies and I love haunted houses, but nightmares get me, man. But my nightmares are really stupid. They're not like traditional nightmares. They're always like, I can't accomplish a task. One of my most common ones is I keep trying to put a shirt on, but my head keeps popping out the wrong hole.
It's a terrible nightmare. That's just a low roll.
I know, right? And I'm just stuck in the process of trying to put my shirt on, and I wake up, and my poor husband has to deal with the fallout of it. But that's where my nightmares are.
Oh, this Akali too might be a nightmare for Minax in just a couple moments here. That's Akali versus the Akali children not to worry about. A lot better.
Ooh, nice CC though.
GA might be a difference here.
Yeah, sometimes the misitemized unit is actually really nice, because in a certain situation, in a 1v1, the GA might be enough.
Oh! Nope, not quite.
No, but that's a winnable round actually, depending on
it was super close. If that CC came through when Akali was already low and she didn't get a chance to heal back up, definitely could have gone the other way. Ooh, Spetham actually out, and same with AZL. We have our top 4. Yiggle still in first, but Banana in Pajama is on fire.
Has been for a bit. Things are getting spicier than the pepper for any American Dad fans. Banana in Pajama now, must feel pretty good, especially since we've been able to easily stabilize so far. But Yiggles has a Jace 2. That was one of the units that we said was kind of the win condition for Yiggle. So now, Yiggles still the favorite, looking pretty good, will most likely take the lobby, but you never know with these double points and how something like Banana Pajama or Yuki might be able to finish, because Yiggles could still finish 4th. You never know.
Still could. Very unlikely, but still possible. And you called it, Boop. Jace 2 being the backline carry for Yiggles. And I thought it got taken out there, but it just got knocked up, and now it gets taken out. Can Sion do it? I don't think so.
Are we gonna see the assassins bring this back?
Yeah, we didn't see Akali's all day, but there's 2 of them.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. One's a Banana and Pajama, but we might actually see a overtime wipe here as well. We saw it already with the Sion earlier, but no, Yiggles goes down. Minax is going to take it down. 1 level below. Banana does lose, but does have 1 more round left.
1 more round left, potentially, going into stage 6. Yuki 15 HP, Minax at 26. Last Whisper, okay for the Shaco. Pandora's, though, is available, so could re-roll it if they want. Already re-rolling that Enforcer emblem to maybe hit, a Syndicate, hit a Scholar, I think. Those both would be good. Assassin, potentially, as well. That's going to re-roll. I think it was Challenger and then Deathblade, it looked like.
All right, Orianna 2 has been pretty hard to find for a lot of our players, so that must be really nice to lock in. And we have, those are good Orianna items. So, we were missing a little bit of damage even with the Jace, but now with this, it's hard to see what can take this down with the front line that it is. Now you have a back line that does a ton of damage. It's not just Ezreal trying to win by death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? You've got Fiora, you've got the Jace, and you've got the Phase Gate to help things like the Orianna and that Shojin stack.
Great Zephyr by Yuki. Oh man, so much time that Akali can get, taking out the other units, be able to have that backline access.
Syra.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Zillion making this interesting. One more ult. No, Yiggles is going to have a hard time against these assassins. I mean, not even close against either of them so far. This might be an overtime win. We already saw, I mean, Sion 1v6 or 1v5 in overtime because of an ult, but we shall see.
Yeah, there's too much damage coming out nowadays. Maybe kill a couple more. Oh, only the one. Yiggles still has 2 lives left. Did anybody get eliminated? No.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh. Yiggles,
Oh, no.
I'm scared. Wait a minute. If
Whew.
Yiggles gets full wiped and Banana in Pajama gets a first somehow, that could be Banana in Pajama winning out the lobby.
Yeah, I
And
mean, mathematically, Yiggles has not locked it up. I mean, she's at the 80% mark, right?
Yeah.
80 to 90%, but I mean, she had to take like a 1%er to get even in here, right? With the lobby win. She might end up winning 3 lobbies in a row. But here's Banana in Pajama. Is this going to be the end for Yiggles, or is it going to be the end for Banana?
Let's see. There's not any pesky assassins, but there still is a Kaisa 2 and a Mal's 2 fully itemized to deal with. It looks like it's not doing any damage to this Jace, though. Jace gets so much time. Oh, that last cast. The Kaisa wasn't able to do enough. Yiggles takes down Banana in Pajama, and with that, might mathematically lock it up. I'm not 100% though. Yuki's still in the game, still on a win streak.
Has it happened? Has Yiggles finally returned to the winner's circle? It's been a while. I mean, Yiggles has won 1 fight night before. That was in the old version. Is one of the only ones that is grandfathered into the new version of Fight Night Rising, and then comes in, you know, wipes 3 lobbies in a row last week, and potentially might do 3 in a row this week again. But we get a top 2 on Yuki now on Elimination Station at 15. Can potentially get taken down, but this Akali has been too much so far for this comp.
A nice last second swap means that the Zephyr lands onto the Zillion instead of the Jace. Akali got CC'd, but she's healing back up, and oh no, it takes out the Jace there. Sion lives, but Akali just has that backline access that Yiggles can't deal with.
It's just too squirrely, right? You know, is flopping around like a fish, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to Akali. And so these are going to be longer rounds, but I mean, this is a replay of something that we saw already.
Yeah.
One more ult from Akali should be it. And now we go to
Carousel.
Potentially our last carousel, or this is going to be our last carousel, and potentially our last round.
Zephyr, it's right in front of Yiggles. If Yiggles could Zephyr the Akali, ooh, that would be real nice. Good RNG there on that carousel. Is it ever a consideration for Yiggles to just say, you know what, because the Akali has backline access, let's go ahead and frontline my Jace. Go melee Jace. Maybe he can deal with it. Maybe.
Okay, 1 round remaining. Oh my goodness, is Yiggles going to put a cherry on top of what is already a pretty nutty day for her? A first place doesn't quite seem to matter, but if we do finish in first place, that would be 3 lobbies in a row for Yiggles. Akali is in the front line. Did we get the Zephyr?
Let's see. Oh, Zephyred onto the Jace. The Akali. Not get hit by it.
Oh, Akali getting focused down by the Jace right now. The ult's going to come through a little bit later. Oh my goodness, Zyra making things interesting. Akali is actually vulnerable. Jace, look around the other way. She's so low. And Fiora actually takes her out. Is Yiggles going to do it? Did Yiggles do enough? I think so. Yiggles is going to win potentially the lobby. I think 4 is enough for 15 HP. There it is. Yiggles takes 3 in a row. Positioning diff there. I'm so excited for a potential interview here. She probably wants to just go to bed.
Yeah.
At this point in time, because that's what I would want to do. What a marathon of the day for Yiggles.
Yeah, 5 games started off today with what? Let's see. Yiggles started off today with a 7th and then a 5th, but then went 1-1-1. Let's take a look at the scores and see. Yiggles 56 points. Is going to be your Fight Night Rising champion of the week. Yuki in 2nd place with 44 points. Banana in Pajama with 43 points for 3rd. And Dog Guy rounds out our top 4 with 38 points.
So Spetham, unfortunately, doing exactly the same as last week. fallen out a little bit at the end. It does make top 8 for the second time. However, we are going to be losing Spetham next week. So 50%, are going to make it into next week with Banana and Pajama and Dog Guy following suit.
All right. Hopefully we can get a Yiggles interview here soon. And I think we actually do. Yiggles, congratulations on your Fight Night Rising victory this week. How are you feeling?
Pretty good, thanks.
Yeah, you had a kind of rough start to the day, but then went 1-1-1. What kind of changed for you? Was it just RNG? Was there a different approach? I mean, this is a new patch, but the patch wasn't, it didn't change that much. But what changed for you throughout this tournament today?
I'm not sure. I feel like the first 2 games I didn't really know why I bought forward. And well, the third game, like I just was like, oh, I need a first. So I guess played more aggressively in the last few games than the first 2. So
Yeah, and just one quick question for me, kind of on the back of that before I pass over to Boop. Would you consider yourself in general an aggressive player? Because I think Boop and I have noticed trends of yours that you definitely tend to play well when you have like a win streak opener and things like that. But you did run some mercenary games, at least in the last week. But what would you say like the style, what your play style is, at least like what you find the most success with?
I mean, I play Mercenary if the game gives it to me on like very early at like 2-1. But it hasn't given it to me in the last like many games, so I haven't played it. I usually do try to play Yordles though, in stage 2, because I find that the econ is really like, it's very impactful. But and also if you play Yordles, like a lot of people in stage 2, they're kind of like just opening, so even if you play like a weaker board stage 2, you're not gonna lose too much HP, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
Cool. All right, so I just want to. So you said that you got aggressive, right? In that third game, you got the hat trick in terms of lobby wins for the second week in a row. I think you won at least 2 in a row last week, right? In the first couple lobbies. But just walk me through what was going through your head, other than just being more aggressive. Was there kind of like, all right, this is it, it's game time situation, or did you go into it kind of like any other game?
I don't know. I feel like I just played it like I would have like any other game. I think I started with Innovators, which I think is a really strong synergy early on. And then I think I got dropped like 2 tiers. I had a whole bunch of tiers, so then I was like, and I had an early Malzahar pair, so I just decided to go Arcanist. Oh, especially because the second augment was prismatic, and I got 2 Arcanist, 2 Arcanist emblems, so that's why I was like, okay, well, guess it's an Arcanist game.
Yeah.
Sometimes the game tells you what to play, right? So my last question for you is, you've been doing really well in Fight Night. In both formats so far, you seem to be peaking in your play. You've been in the TFT community for a hot second, but are you kind of moving into this next phase of your career with a little bit more confidence because of your recent results?
Uh, I think confidence is always going to be an issue for me. I'm pretty shy, so I I'm not a big I don't know, I don't think I would be a very good streamer because of that. But yeah, I don't know if people are willing to watch, maybe I would.
Hey, and just so you know, I don't know if you're in here, but you're a very popular player when you're here at Fight Night. So I think that when you choose to do it, I think it would be a successful endeavor personally. So it's up to you, though. I love watching you, and you had a lot of really great success with Innovators today, some Ezreal starts, Shibs were all over the place. So congratulations, because you had to work for the win today. I mean, you almost didn't even make it into the top 8, so congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think, results, if nothing else, speak for themselves. It goes, congratulations on your Fight Night Rising victory. We'll give the floor to you if you do have any shout outs, be it other people, social media, anything that you want.
Nope, just thank you for always hosting these tournaments and always being here to cast. Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you for coming, playing in, showing some people how to play TFT. So congrats, and we will see you here next week. All right, Boop. There it is.
Man.
Another Eagles interview. We've had one more before, but you know, it's interesting. We get some nice insight. That's why I love interviews and I love Fight Night Rising, because we get to consistently hear the perspective of players and where their mindset is at. Sometimes they're real confidence vibes are like, yeah, you know, I'm super good, you know, some Last Card X vibes, right? But then sometimes we get the opposite end of the spectrum with Eagles, and both are valid, right? But yeah, both are super valid. Like, you can feel how you're gonna feel. The play backs it up, though. I think Yiggles has came into Fight Nights, done really well, been in the top 3, top 4 consistently through both formats now, and, you know, definitely excited to see where Yiggles can continue to go, either as just a TFT player, as a streamer. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, so...
Oh, yeah. I totally agree. I mean, I hope that if anything, after today, she kind of gets the confidence and might, you know, rewatch the VOD and kind of see how many people do support her, because it's a good amount of people, and watching her play is really good. I mean, I say it as a little bit of a joke, but it seems like she gets spats all the time. You know, Yiggles' boards are always pretty insane, right? So super entertaining, and seems to kind of follow her in terms of that. But I do feel a little bad, because not only did we make her change formats, we're going to make her change patches now.
I know.
And a whole set. So starting next week. So maybe Eagles will do it. The last time Eagles fell out of the top 4 was because of a set change. So, you know, we have some things to go look forward to, but I think what Fight Night is going to give us is the next generation again, you know?
Yeah. Well said. I think so. And I mean, besides that, Boop, do you have any thoughts to wrap out the day? Maybe just overall for what we've seen before we do head on into set 6.5, because it is going to be a new set, right? We're saying goodbye to set 6 after at least this weekend, but for Fight Night Rising, saying goodbye to set 6.
You know, it's funny. I feel like it could still learn the set a little bit more.
Agree.
And like, I think that's why the half set felt like so sudden. I felt like a little bamboozled by its suddenness, but, you know, I'm adjusting. I'm excited to see what's going on, but we still got some set, you know, 6 shenaniganery with you in the Zon Cup. Who you got your eyes on for that?
Mid set. Oh, okay. So I think players like Asa and Spicy Appies I actually really have my eye on. It's very exciting, because you know that new blood in TFT can, you know, come out and have these big breakout tournament performances, right? Happened with like Goobums and DQA, now they've kind of solidified themselves as like tournament staples, but now I think there's even more room for players. In the top 2 that I have are Asa and Spicy Appies, and hey, in a couple sets, you know, it could be Yiggles, it could be all of these players that we see here on Fight Night Rising.
Yep.
As you get your start here, and where do you go with it, right? The choice is yours, and it could be big.
Yep, you know, I was telling you my dark horse is Aniko and Nico.
Yeah.
I hope like the good karma finally comes through. Great player, has a hard time in tournaments though. I think I'm gonna go with the favorite though. I think it's Ramblin's Coronation. When it comes to this particular set, Ramblin's one of the best players in the world. Arguably, I think you could argue that one of, if not the best player in the world. So we'll see what happens, but I like you. I'm really bullish on Spicy Appies as well. Super passionate kid, really good content creator as well. So I'm excited to watch Khroen.
I'm excited as well. Make sure to check out the TFT mid-set finale. 32 of the best players in North America will be starting tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/teamfighttactics. 3-day event. It'll be big. Check it out. But that'll do it for us here tonight. Thank you on behalf of Boop, myself, and the rest of the team. This has been Fight Night Rising, brought to you by Wisdom, and we will see you here next week.